is expected to face a labor shortage of vets until 2031. As wintry weather settles in, it brings risks for pets as well as people. Experts say pet owners can take steps to keep their animals warm and safe, including learning about the dangers of extreme temperatures, buying weather-resistant accessories, and stocking up on extra supplies in case of power outages or storms. They say dogs are at risk of frostbite once the temperature falls below 0 degrees Celsius, especially if they are damp or wet. That could leave paws, ears, and tails more vulnerable. And hospitals are seeing more children sick with flu after the virus started circulating earlier than usual this year. Montreal Children's Hospital infectious disease specialist Dr. Jesse Papenburg says a surveillance network covering 15 children's hospitals across the country shows a rise in ER visits for the flu.
School-age children, transmission within that age group is often first, and then there's further community transmission and eventually hitting our older population. And that's obviously due to the nature of interactions that school-age children have that allows them to transmit influenza.
Doctors are urging both adults and children to get their flu shot now, noting that it takes about 2 weeks for vaccine protection to kick in. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Weather tonight, mainly cloudy. Some flurries in the area and a low down to -9 tomorrow. Flurries ending, mostly cloudy. And we're falling to -15 tomorrow night, partly cloudy, a low down to -21. Saturday, partly sunny, but a high of -17. Sunday, mostly cloudy, high of 9. And looking ahead to Monday, mostly cloudy. A few flurries possible and a high of -6. Currently, downtown Regina, cloudy sky. It's -1, but it feels like -8.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
We're the big dogs. We're the big dogs. We're the big dogs. We're the big dogs. I'm not here to talk about Nathan Rourke. I think it's our time. We're the big dogs. I think it's our time. We're the big dogs. It's our time.
There it is. That is Big Dogs, exclusively Harvard Media. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. If you missed it, if you missed the news, he's back. Trevor Harris extending with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, a 1-year contract extension. Let's be excited. For sure, let's be excited. But didn't we all kind of think that was going to happen? Like, I thought it was a slam dunk. Colson's with me today. We're flying solo mission here. Colson, like, on a scale out of 100, I was probably 95%. Where were you?
I'd be somewhere around there too. Yeah.
But I guess
95, maybe like a 93.
Let's get excited though. Trevor Harris is back. Now the big question, what's the next domino that falls? How does this trickle down? What do we have? Thursday edition of the Sports Cage is brought to you by the Access Communications Group, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Farhan Lalji is going to join us in about 10 minutes' time. We are going to dissect what he thinks about Trevor Harris. We're going to ask him what's the next domino that falls. How does it impact Cody Fajardo as well? That's one thing Farhan wants to go through. And, I guess he's got some news on the Corey Mace Toronto investigation. I'm not sure what news that is, but Farhan Lalji's coming up, our TSN football insider. Also in hour one, we have our Indigenous Sports Spotlight for Fries Tallman Lumber in Fort Capel and Regina. Very interested to talk to Naim Cardinal about his website, Indigenous Hockey Cards, and also the Upper Deck project that he worked on. It's coming up in about 40 minutes' time. Hour two, Les Lazeruk, voice of the Saskatoon Blades, the Saskatoon Berries up in Saskatoon. Let's find out more from Lester on the WHL this year. Les is going to want to talk Riders for sure. he'll want to talk about Trevor Harris extending. We'll talk to Les in hour 2, as well as Benny Walchuk, our SJHL report. If you're watching the stream, you see the hat. Our SJHL Sportscage hat. We have another one to give away today. Stay tuned for how to win one of these sought-after lids. Hour 3, Glen Suitor. A lot to talk to with Suits now as well. And we will also have a whole lot more. Also winning today, Regina Pats tickets for tomorrow night. They take on the Brandon Wheat Kings. We talked to Chase Sirkan yesterday from the Brandon Wheat Kings, Regina's own. So we'll have tickets to give away. We're going to try and figure out how to get all the winning in. You are asked to participate as much as you want in the program, especially when it's Colson and I. The phone lines are open if you want to fire away on the Trevor Harris thing, anything. 936-6262, 1-866-767-0620. But the Prairieland Rentals text line is where most of you like to hide, like to engage. You can let us know what you think. Prairieland Rentals, 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner. Anything you need for a rental coming up this winter, or if you're in the need of a Husqvarna snow thrower, they have a number in stock. They are the official dealer. Guests will join us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Thinking of a gift card for that gift exchange, or maybe catering, or you got to bring something to your company event coming up? Why not Western Pizza? Keep it local. Western Pizza gift card goes a long ways. Western Pizza, the pizza you just can't make anywhere, in the Greek favorites you love. All right. Colson.
Yeah.
What do you think the next domino to fall is? Is it Sam Emilus? Is it? You look through the free agents, and we talked to Don Hewitt on Tuesday when he was on the show, and I'm in the same camp as Don in respect that Jeremy O'Day is doing a pretty good job, pretty savvy. As much as he's been raked over the coals with Craig Reynolds as well. And there are still people out there. They might text in the Prairieland Rentals text line. We got to fire everybody. And they just won the Grey Cup. Look what he's doing. I thought Harris was coming back. But now, power of the herd, as they call it, is it a receiver? Is it a Sam Emilus? What are we doing with Kean Schaefer-Baker?
Personally, I'm thinking it's AJ is the next big domino. Because you've seen how tight Harris and AJ are, both Ohio guys, practically living together, right? I feel like with Harris re-signing, AJ's like, yep, $5,000 pay cut to come back or whatever. Sure, I'm in. Switch something over to incentives. Sure, I'm in. I think he's game now. Sure, they got to work the details out, but I think he'll be the next big domino. Yeah, the MLS KSB saga is going to be interesting to watch, kind of which route they go. Everyone keeps saying you can't keep both. I think there is a world where we could, but if we keep both of them, you're probably losing a couple of your American guys. So,
Mark the truck driver is wondering how he came up with 93%. I said 95%.
Yeah, I said 93.
You said 93?
I just said, well.
So Mark, it's an equation that only Colson can figure out.
I was just going based off of Harris was saying from his perspective, he feels good to go. It was just talking it out with his wife and his family. And I'm like, that's a little bit more unknowns, right? If he feels he's completely good to go, once you start adding in family and you increase the number of family members. It wasn't like McDavid where it was just his wife and his dog.
What's his dog's name again?
Lenny.
Lenny.
Yeah.
Lenny the dog. So I think the Harris thing and the family thing, and sometimes I think about this when athletes have to re-sign, when they're a little bit older, long in the tooth, call it what you want, is like you look at Trevor Harris's family and kids, like they want to see dad play.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like I get the whole you want to be a dad, you want to take your kid to the field, you want to be at the dance recitals, you want to be all you want to be all that. And in a perfect world, we all get that chance, but that's not like I got friends at work 7-10 days out and 7-10 days in. So yeah, the days you're in, and I'm sure a lot of you out there know guys too, or girls that work in the patch or work up north or work in the mine or whatever. It's like shift work, right? So it's not, life's not perfect. It's not a board game and you get to restart and that. So
I mean, there is a board game of it, but it's not perfect either.
Yeah. So I think that he's still good. Let's cross that off.
Yeah. You don't win Grey Cup MOP
Yeah.
by accident.
Now, I've said this last year. I'll say it again. CFL's a 2-quarterback league a lot of times. You got to have a capable backup. Jake Mayer, his comments postseason, I would be more there on the 50-50 because it's also, do the Riders want him back? Maybe the Riders have a different plan in place.
Maybe they see something in Jack Cohn and they're going to try and develop him this year, right? Hope you go.
You don't keep him around for that long.
Exactly.
I think if you don't see something.
Exactly. But yeah, maybe they try and get a hot start again this year, win 10 of the first 14 games, then you've got the last 4 to let Cohn sling it. Let Tommy Stevens go out there and sling it, right?
Yeah, so Cohen's, they're all free agents.
Yeah.
So, Stevens, I can't see him coming back.
Yeah, 44 free agents is ridiculous.
Where else is Tommy going to go? That, I guess anywhere. You could say that, but...
Well, didn't he say he wanted to play here, right? He loved it this year, and he wants to stay a Rider for life. I think it was a more or less direct quote.
A year is, and it isn't, a long time as well. I think in the NHL, we just saw Carter Hart come back and play goaltending position in the NHL after 2 years away.
Yeah.
And it's taken him some time. He didn't have a stellar start with the Henderson Silver Knights in the AHL, but the Golden Knights said, all right, we're kicking him into the fire. Let's roll. Quarterback, same thing. You see it in every league. But from all accounts, we're gonna be fine there. Maybe I'm kind of leaning towards, are they gonna give Jack Cohn the ball as the second guy?
The one holdout reason I have for wanting Jake back is when we had Jake on, we were talking about he's got a great voice. He might go into broadcasting, right? And Mike Rose was kind of the same thing. And I'm like, oh, we got to have them both back next year. So for Halloween, they can go as Dave and Luke. That's my great idea now.
That's very clever. Look at that. Ding, ding. Clever one of the day from Colson. Prairie Land Rentals text line, Randy and Regina. He says he was 100% sure he was coming back. Now he says AJ, followed by Hardrick. Pretty sure Hardrick was part of what Harris wanted to ensure.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Not far off. Wanda, now where she's from, she was 100% sure he's coming back. She says now it's Sam Emelis is the next domino to fall. Rick says Emelis and then AJ. The Hardrick thing. Now Randy's got me. Randy's got me thinking. Maybe it is Hardrick. So many people we can ask coming up. Farhan Lalji, we can ask him that. Talk to Glen Suitor about it later. It's a good day. It's a good day. Although we thought it was guaranteed, nothing in life is guaranteed, they tell me, or they have told me. Now we got him. Trevor Harris is back for another year. I'm curious to hear more from the Stamp fans, the Elks fans. Man, they're kind of quiet. Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans might chime in on the text lines. Hey, they go ahead, be haters. We got them back. Hopefully we're running it all back, or almost all of it back. It is the Sports Cage. Farhan Lalji is going to be with us next, our TSN football insider. We're going to talk a lot about football with him. Stay tuned. It's for Access Communications on Thursday. We are streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
The Country Music Rewind with Colin Lovequist.
Let us take you back to this time period, 1998. Garth's electrifying performances and heartfelt music captured the hearts of millions and cemented his status as a country music powerhouse. We're going to feature him a couple of times on our Crawford's No Frills Country Music Rewind.
The Country Music Rewind with Colin Lovequist. Brought to you by Crawford's No Frills. Saturday afternoons at 4 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on Country's Greatest Hits. 620 CKRM. 620 CKRM on location.
Hi there, it's Cody Glen broadcasting from the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery at the Gallagher Center, home of the Yorkton Terriers. And boy, they want to give you, well, not the Terriers, but the Yorkton Exhibition wants to give you $100,000 in this cash lottery. This is a phenomenal lottery here. 14 prizes of $1,000, 10 prizes of $500. There's that grand prize of $100,000 tax-free. Boy, when was the last time you heard that in this country? Tax-free. Well, you just might win that here in the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery. Boy, that'd be nice this time of year, wouldn't it? You know, you've got the kids hounding for the Christmas presents. You've got family coming over. You know, you're going to be entertaining. You probably want a little extra cash kicking around, too, and that's what the Yorkton Exhibition wants to do. Now, this lottery is not going to be a sellout this year, so that improves the odds of you winning this money. 1-866-783-4800. By the way, Brian McMillan in Broadview, thank you very much for stopping on by here today for the nice little visit. Always nice to see Brian here. You can buy your ticket in person if you want, or online at YorktonExhibition.com.
Ready to raise your shower game? Rent a water heater and water softener together from Reliance Heath and turn every shower into a spa-worthy experience. Right now, when you rent a new water heater and water softener together, you'll get $400 back, sent by check after installation. Why settle for meh when you can upgrade your whole home's water and get big cashback savings? Don't miss out on this limited time offer.
Call on Reliance.
Call on Reliance Heath today.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
It's time to get the inside story. TSN's Farhan Lalji on Sportscage is brought to you by the Cooperators. Time to get financially fit? Cooperators can build a plan that works for you. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
Joining us from Miami, yes, nice shot in the background. Before we get to what you're doing, yeah, that's that. I'm more looking at the blue sky and the golf shirt.
I know.
I know. I just went and bought new golf shoes. Won't be using those for a while. Before we get to what you're doing in Miami and all that, Farhan, Trevor Harris, I said 95% that he was coming back. Colson said 93%. He was always coming back, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was 100%. I mean, when you talked to him at the end of the season and he talked about how he had already begun the process with his family kind of to see where things were, and you knew that he really felt like he was at the top of his game, both from a physical standpoint and just his understanding of what needed to happen in order for him and his teams to have success. So, you know, couple that with a Grey Cup win and just the great feeling around the province. And, you know, he's also at a place where he has never felt this good. I mean, he's been a starter elsewhere, but just the way the community has embraced him and everything like that, he's finally hit the sweet spot of his career and it's happened this late in his career. So if I'm him, I don't want to let that go. You know, I'm sure he's making over $500,000 a year. So that's another thing you don't want to let go. So I think this was never a surprise that he was going to be back in green and white next year.
1 year surprise you? Or is it kind of going to be a year-by-year thing with him now?
Yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me at all. I think it's always going to be a year-by-year thing. And he's earned that right. He's earned the right to earn more. He doesn't mind giving the team a right to step back and have a change in direction. And he does genuinely want to reassess it every year. How's my body feeling? Where's my family at? Do I need to be there more? Can I sacrifice to continue to do this? I think all of that, you know, and again, I mean, you know, you see certain coaches kind of have that luxury that they don't have to worry about it. They know that they've got a certain amount of leverage and they're in a pretty good position. And I think Trevor Harris feels the same way.
Domino effect for the Riders. You know, text line, some people are saying Hardrick and AJ. Some people are thinking Emelis. If we're asking you that question, how do you think the dominoes fall here?
Well, I think it's got to be Hardrick first. And I say that because he's been the biggest difference maker for that offense in the last couple of years. And I think Sam Emelis is a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. However, that team is deep at receiver. They're deep at Canadian receiver. Do you want to keep Sam Emelis? Might he be the best in their building? Maybe, but they've still got a lot of good ones there, whereas I think the drop-off at offensive tackle is significantly higher. And, you know, and a guy like AJ Allen on the defensive side and what he's allowed them to do defensively and with their ratio overall, he's been a real find in this Canadian Football League season. So as much as I think of Sam Emelis, to be truthful, if I had to rank those three in terms of importance for Jeremy O'Day to get done, I'd probably put Emelis at third. And that, again, that's no shot at him. It's just a reflection of how much I think of their receiving depth.
With the receivers that assigned Phil Pott specifically this week, where does that leave Emelis in your mind?
Yeah, you know, I think it's going to be around the same number, maybe a little bit higher. They're represented by the same agent. So I don't know that there's going to be a big gap there, but I think the Keon Hatcher signing probably raised a lot of eyebrows, right? Not that he got 2 years and a big number, but an average of $315 a year. That's a big number for American receiver who's in his 30s. Now, I still think that Hatcher's got good years left. I don't think he's too old. I think he's earned it based on what he did last year, but he doesn't give him the ratio benefits that a guy like Philpott or Emelis do. So, you know, might that, you know, push Rob Fry, the agent, to try to get a little bit more for his clients? It might. You know, you never know. I don't think he's going to get paid more than Keon Hatcher, but, you know, I think the gap between Philpott and Hatcher might be hit right down the middle with a guy like Emelis.
O'Day's in a tough spot, I think. You know, so if you do go Emelis at a little bit higher of a number or a number similar to Philpott, does that mean maybe a Kean Schaefer-Baker's on the outside looking in?
You know, it's hard to say. I want to see how this is going to all shake out. Now, I do think they can't keep them all, right? I mean, basically, they're 4 starting receivers. If you had it at the start of the year, right, 2 Americans and two Canadians, all of them are free agents. So I still don't believe they can keep them all. But what you are seeing with the Hatcher deal is that all GMs are going with the new salary cap, right? So last year when they got the raise in the cap and it got up to $6 million, none of the GMs dealt with that. They basically worked off the lower number because it was after the free agency period started that everyone understood. And there was still some debate in the early stages about where that extra money was going. Is it going to get spread out over the cap to everybody? You know, what's that going to look like? Whereas now GMs know what they're dealing with. And the cap could go up again. So when you factor all of that in, you know, I want to see how aggressive. Obviously, Ryan Rigmaiden got real aggressive when it came to Keon Hatcher. How does that impact the rest of the market? Do we see more players around, you know, the high 200s and 300,000 mark?
What does the Harris signing do maybe with the quarterback market? What are you maybe curious on there?
Well, I think I'm more curious than anything to see what happens with Cody Fajardo, right? And he's not going to get Trevor Harris money, you know, and so we'll see, right? I know that he is, from everybody I've talked to around Cody, and I haven't talked to Cody about it directly, he wants to be back playing. But I know that his position with the organization is I've got to see what my family wants and look at life after football options and things like that. So, you know, I don't know that any of those options are going to pay him more than Edmonton will, but Edmonton's also not going to talk to Cody Fajardo about a deal in the 500,000 range. I just don't see that happening, and I don't believe that he's got leverage with other teams around the league trying to bring him in and make him their guy. So, you know, he's going to have that, you know, come to Jesus moment. How bad do I want to play? And let's get this thing done so the organization can move forward with the rest of the signings and business that they've got to do to make Edmonton better.
I'm curious on obviously would love to be a fly on the wall in Jeremy O'Day's room, but where does this now leave them as far as number 2 to Trevor Harris? Because that guy's going to play next year. How many games he plays, who knows? Mayer, does he want to come back in that role? Is it Jack Cohn's time? What does your gut say there, Farhan?
I think they want to bring Mayer back, and I think I would have him ahead of Jack Cohn in my mind, and he's not an old player, right? So it's just a case of what you think your ceiling is going to be and who you think your quarterback might be in 2027 or 2028, right? And if you think that Cohn's ceiling is higher, then maybe you invest there by making him the number 2. And then I think Mayer's going to look around and see what else is out there because, he's kind of at that time. He's done the apprentice thing under Trevor for 2 years, and, now he's got to figure it out. And again, as we talk about Cody Fajardo, I don't think there's a bunch of teams that are looking to bring Jake Mayer in to be their starter. And that's not a shot at Jake. It's just a reflection of what the rest of the quarterback landscape is league-wide, where everybody's got their guy, right? So other than Edmonton, there's not necessarily a debate there as to who the guy is going to be. So I think they'd like to bring Jake back. And in the end, I think if they can make it work, I think he comes back. For my money, I think Jake Mayer was the best backup quarterback in the league. Maybe doesn't have the ceiling, but he certainly got a really, really high floor. So I think it was a really good fit for him working behind Trevor Harris.
I was thinking that too, but then I was like, who was the backup in Edmonton? Start of the year, it was like, we had Fajardo, his great backup. But it is Farhan Lalji joining us, our football insider from TSN for the Cooperators. I want to, have you heard anything? I kind of teased it, thinking you might know anything on the Corey Mace Toronto investigation. What really happened there? Do we know any more clarity?
Yeah, I think the investigation is ongoing, and I believe that the league is taking this very seriously, right? I don't think they're just going through the motions here. So I do think that there's something there. And we talked about it before that, we do believe that some level of indirect contact was made, not with Corey directly, but with, whether it's his representatives or people who know him really well, or just some way to get a second or third hand indication as to whether or not he would even consider anything like that. And again, we talked about it last week. There was nothing meaningful there. Like, I don't think he ever seriously considered it from that standpoint, but I do think something happened. And again, I think the league is taking it seriously, and I think there will be I think something's going to happen here. We'll see what it looks like. I'm not going to necessarily speculate as to what that's going to be, but I do think it'll be more than a slap on the wrist.
Why do I think that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the offensive coordinator position there is weird? Like, you still have a guy in your hiring. Like, the body's not cold.
Well, it was weird last year, right? They waited until free agency had happened. And it's not like they were interviewing a big, long list of candidates. They just kind of navel-gazed their way through the process, and eventually they got Jason Hogan out of it. So, yeah, formally Hogan's still employed. They've already interviewed Tommy Condell and Mike Miller. Miller's obviously going to be the head coach in Toronto, so he's not a factor. Condell makes way too much sense for it to not be him, but, Winnipeg does things differently, right? So, the relationship that Condell has with Zach Caleros, I think it's the only logical solution. I don't think they're seriously considering Jarius Jackson, which I think could be a logical solution as well, but it doesn't sound like at this point that's the direction they're leaning. So if you've talked to Tommy Condell and you know that your quarterback absolutely loves him, what are you waiting for? Get on with it.
Do you like the Miller signing in Toronto? Is that kind of the only play at this point?
Well, when you look at the list of candidates, right, I think Campbell was a viable candidate because he'd done it before, and he'd been through a situation previously where there was some challenge in terms of what the team was dealing with logistically. But, Mike Miller and his relationship with Chad Kelly, I think that trumps it because they've invested in Chad Kelly. Chad Kelly is going to be their quarterback next year. So you better do everything in your power to make sure that Chad Kelly's in the best position to succeed. And his relationship with Mike Miller allows for that to happen. And then you bring in a guy like John Huffnagel to provide some additional support, both from a coaching and management standpoint. And so we'll see what they bring in for the rest of the staff, what the defensive coordinator is going to look like. But Miller's got a really good resume, right? This is the one thing he doesn't have on it, and I think he's earned an opportunity. So hopefully everything else around Chad Kelly works itself out, and it kind of health-wise he's fine. There's no drama and other stuff going around him as we progress through an 18-game season. But I think they believe that Mike Miller gives them the best opportunity to get the most out of a really good quarterback when his head's in the right place.
Okay, let's shift to what are you doing in Miami? That doesn't look like the football
I'm
stadium.
in Miami. No, well, actually, a college team plays here. I think Florida Atlantic plays here, and I am not covering a Florida Atlanta game. But I'm here for the MLS Cup. The Vancouver Whitecaps are playing Miami, Inter Miami. So it's Messi versus Thomas Muller. So, two big-name players in the world of soccer for the MLS Cup. First time the Whitecaps have made it to this point. So they decided to send me down. And, I December, right? Like I could go to Vancouver where it's raining. I could go to Regina where it's snowing, or I could come here. And guess what I've chosen?
Big World Cup news coming down tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tomorrow's the World Cup draw. And, I think in terms of a non-sporting event, this is as big a sporting event as there is that doesn't involve actual gameplay and competition. Like the entire world is going to be fixated on this. Like millions and millions of people are going to watch this draw to see where their teams are going to wind up, both in terms of the group, in terms of location. So, all the players that are playing in the game on Saturday are going to be paying full attention to what's going on tomorrow. It is going to captivate the soccer world for sure.
How big is the Thursday nighter, the NFL game as we kick things off? How big is this game?
I think it's huge because Dallas in the last 3 games they've won, and they've all of a sudden got people interested. And the Cowboys are that team, right, where they'll go like this, they'll reel you back in, and then you get in, and then you get your heart broken, right? And when you looked at their schedule in the last couple of games to play Philadelphia, then Kansas City, now Detroit, and then Minnesota, and they got, in my opinion, through the 2 toughest because Detroit's stumbling a bit as well. I mean, and Kansas City was too, in fairness, and Philly, I guess now too. When you look at the last few weeks, so all these teams have kind of been taking a bit of a step back, and Detroit and Minnesota even all of a sudden don't look as daunting as when the schedule first came out. So Dallas is in a really good position here. Their defense has started to play well, and if they can get through these 2 games, it's going to get even easier for them the rest of the way. And for Detroit, they got to find a way to get it figured back out and get this thing back on the tracks because it hasn't looked good for them 2 of the last 3 games.
The thing I read this morning was NFL Next Gen. Lions playoff chances improved to 59% with a win tonight. They fall to 22% with a loss. And then the Cowboys go 31 with a win, and they go 6 with a loss. And I had no idea this game meant so much playoff-wise. So it should be a good watch. The last thing I want to ask you, and I don't know if you're going over to cover the Olympics and all that, but just as a veteran broadcaster, reporter, everything, what are you making of the hockey rink in Milan?
I think it's ridiculous, and I'm initially, when they made the decision to not play international ice because they were going to be, building a new rink anyway. I go back to one of my first Olympic experiences, 2004 in Athens, and 2006 in Turin in Italy wasn't much different, where everything happened in the very last second. And I remember in sitting down with the organizers at a press conference a couple of days before the Olympics, and kind of the what was said was basically, well, if you wanted us to have it ready early, why didn't you tell us, right? Because they do things differently in Europe. So the fact that we're dealing with this at this stage and they've started the building and they can't get the size right, is 3 or 4 feet going to matter that much? Hard to say, but the fact that you're dealing with this, it just makes me think, European Olympics, par for the course, and disappointing for all that as well.
It's going to be an interesting watch over the next little bit. All right. Well, you have fun down there. Obviously, like I said, jealous. And we'll catch up next week. Thanks for doing this on Thursday.
Thanks, Barney. We'll talk soon.
Right on. There he is, our football insider from TSN, Farhan Lalji. It's time to get financially fit. Cooperators can build a plan that works for you. Cooperators, invest in your future together. He brings us the insider. Geez, that Thursday night game, we're going to talk more about that. And I know maybe some of you aren't total NFL fans, but there's not a heck of a lot on. Maybe at Christmas shopping tonight. There's a lot of NHL games too, I guess. But I had no idea that is such a big football game tonight, playoff implications-wise. Farhan talks about Trevor Harris. He was 100% on it, and then he thinks Hardrick. Jamarcus Hardrick will be the next domino to fall. See a bunch of you are texting in here. We'll get to those when we come back. Read some of them, the ones that we can read. Ryan on the YouTube chat. Smart Cookie. I want to read you guys that one when we come back. It is the Sports Cage on Thursdays. It's for Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. We'll be back in a moment.
And the puck's dropped on your financial future. Are you skating toward retirement? Don't get caught offside when it comes to your work pension, farm succession, or changing family needs. Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor, and the team at GP Financial Services and Aviso Wealth are your local independent advisors helping Saskatchewan families plan for retirement and beyond. 306-584-2755, gpfinancial.ca. Mutual funds and other securities are offered through Aviso Wealth, a division of Aviso Financial Inc.
620 CKRM on location.
We're here in Yorkton. It's the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery at the Gallagher Center. That's where you'll find the Yorkton Exhibition office. And they are giving away a lot of money, $100,000 in tax-free cash. Now, there's going to be 25 draws tomorrow night. That means you must get your ticket right away here. You actually might win more than $100,000 because the way this works is there are 10 prizes of $500. If your name is drawn, you win the $500, but then your name goes back into the draw for one of the 14 prizes of $1,000. You might win that 50-50 if you happen to buy 50-50 tickets, and you might win that grand prize. So theoretically, you might win a heck of a lot more than $100,000. So you just never know. It's got to go to somebody. Why not make that person be you? 1-866-783-4800. 1-866-783-4800.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
It's time to unwrap great savings during the Access Communications Boxing Week sale. For a limited time, Access is offering all new and existing customers 1 month free with any new service of Access Internet, TV, phone, or security. Plus, choose your gift of either a $50 credit or free Fire TV stick. The Access Communications Boxing Week sale is on now. Visit myaccess.ca today.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262 for Prairie Land Rentals. Renting heaters, skid steers, and most power tools for all those winter jobs. And your official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. Welcome back to Sportscage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sportscage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the Sports Cage on this Thursday for Access Communications. Still a lot to get to here. Almost done hour one, but I teased it earlier in the show. It's our Indigenous Sports Spotlight. It's brought to you by Fries Tallman Lumber in Regina and Fort Capel. Did you know, and I didn't know this, and my wife didn't know this, which is kind of dangerous, they have their own pre-hung door shop. They make doors. They got a whole other facility. So if you need a door in your house of any kind, pre-hung or whatever the other options are, Fries Tallman, and also gift cards. If you're going to buy a gift card from a big box store, might as well buy it from the local shop, right? Fries Tallman in Regina and Fort Capel, proud to partner with Indigenous communities around Saskatchewan. They are the sponsor of the Indigenous Sports Spotlight. I brought him in today out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. We go Naim Cardinal. He has his website, indigenousrookiecard.com. Naim, thanks so much for taking some time today. And nice tarp, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. It's good to be here, Barney. Love this shirt.
Yeah. Okay, I want to start, and we're going to kind of be doing this here as we go, maybe once a month or whatever, because some of the stuff you do is fascinating through your website. I want to first off, let's talk about the Upper Deck project and what you did there. If you were going to give someone kind of the elevator pitch or the quick rundown on how that came about and what it is, what would you say?
I would say it's a set of hockey cards that's dedicated to NHL players of Indigenous descent who never had a hockey card during their hockey card career. So every player in that set was never featured in an NHL license card during their playing days or after. So they never had like a certified rookie card through the Upper Deck or through the NHLPA during their playing days. And it was a project that we worked on very closely with the community, probably over 2 years. They got released in early 2023. And they were given away for free. Like they were given away at like youth hockey tournaments, and in other events like that. But it was a project I was really honored to be a part of, and I worked with individual players in that set or their family members to ensure everything was done properly.
That's so fascinating. And I remember when we had on the Day of Truth and Reconciliation here, and the Western Canada Pro Hockey Scouts came up, and they mentioned this and they talked about it. You weren't there, but it was just, something that you think, yeah, like these guys never had a hockey card. So then you guys went and did it, and Upper Deck partnering with them, like, wow, what a feat that would be. And I'm just looking at them here. What's a few that we can single out here, Naim, from what you guys did?
Well, I think a couple you can single out. Maybe start with Johnny Harms, who's born in Saskatchewan. And he played 44 games for the Blackhawks back in the 40s. So really one of the early players. And the thing about Johnny is like he never knew what his ancestry was. Like I talked very closely with his family and putting the information together. And I've stayed connected with them since then because they live locally here. And we've done an event together to honor their dad and his hockey card and stuff. He had a really, really cool career. He was young in the NHL. Like he was 18, 19 years old. He got called up for the playoffs and, was at that time was the youngest player to score a goal in the Stanley Cup finals because they made it to the finals that year and they lost. But in those days, they still got a Stanley Cup ring. So I got to see a Stanley Cup ring.
That's awesome. Okay, what can you tell me about this one, Rocky Trottier, obviously the name, right? Brian Trottier. Oh, yeah. Looks like he's from Climax. What can you tell me about this one?
Yeah, so this card here, the Rocky Trottier card, that's Brian Trottier's brother. And there was actually three of them who played pro hockey. Brian and Rocky made it to the NHL, and their other brother Monty played in the American. So he got very close to the NHL as well. But yeah, just really cool listening to their stories and trying to summarize information for them to put on the back of their cards, things that were significant. A lot of these guys, they played a handful of games in the NHL. But we really wanted to summarize like their accomplishments as best as possible and just like include cool facts in there and stuff like that. In those days, it was really hard to get a card because you had to be on the list or like the day the photographer was there. Whereas now, as soon as you step on the ice, you're in the lineup, you get a card. If you're a goalie and you back up and you're at the game, you get a card. Your card's included in sets.
So you had to be there the day that the photographer was there. I guess that kind of makes sense though, back in the day, right?
Yeah. And the interesting thing was like when I was talking to Danny Hodgson, who's also in the set, who you're familiar with, is he was saying that when he was a rookie, it was tough for him to get into their rookie class with the rest of the Maple Leafs because they had Wendell Clark, they had Gary Lehman and Russ Courtnall, and Danny were all the rookies that year. So he said he kind of got singled out. It was kind of at the lower end there and wasn't included in the set that year. But Danny picked this photo out. He said he picked that photo because it was kind of blurry and he wanted to look fast. So that's why he wanted that photo on his card.
That's super cool. Naim Cardinal's joining us here in the Freeze Tallman Indigenous Sports Spotlight. We're talking about the Upper Deck Project and Indigenous NHLers that never had cards. Okay, what's maybe one more we can do here in this set, Naim?
Look at another one here. Maybe we can look at Ted Nolan.
That's one that stands out for me. But baffling, he never had a card.
Yeah. 78 games with the Red Wings and the Penguins, and very well-known coach. He did have some cards in, there was like CHL sets, late 80s, early 90s, where he was coaching in the OHL. And then there was also an unlicensed product in the 2000s that he was included in, but it wasn't NHL licensed and it wasn't identified as a rookie card. But it was really awesome, like just really getting to talk to the Nolans and, just getting the information from them that they wanted included on here. And, Ted is he's very accomplished. He's very well known in community. He's somebody I respect very highly because it's like messaging that he shares when he's working with youth and in communities. So it was just like a huge honor to make a card for someone like that.
Yeah. And then 2 sons that played in the NHL.
Yep. Yeah. Brandon and Jordan.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right. So, and then just going back to all this. So, like these cards were given out for free, you said. So, you, if you wanted to get them now, you'd have to find someone that has them, basically?
Yeah, pretty much. People do sell them on eBay. Another way that they were distributed was at the 2023 Heritage Classic in Edmonton. They were given away in the game day program. So if you're able to find a game day program, there's like a sheet of them, like perforated cards where you like tear them off, but I wouldn't recommend that.
And then and just tell people about your website, because like I said, I think this is great. We're going to bring you on, sporadically here and just talk about some of these, because this is the set, but people go to their website and it's indigenousrookicard.com. What do they find there, Naim?
Well, what they will find on there is on there is like, I feel like it's a place where I can pay homage to the players who are in the NHL. And what I've done is, I have photos of my hockey cards in my collection. So I have one rookie card for every NHL player of Indigenous descent who has a hockey card and has played at least one game. So what I've done on there is I put the photos, but I've also written a biography for every single player. And there's over 100 players in my card collection. So this is something I've been working on for almost a decade now. I've been working on this collection for 11 years, and then the website came after. So really, it's just kind of like to me, it's kind of like a museum.
Exactly. I was going to just kind of say, like, just a nice tribute, museum-ish to that. All right. Well, like I said, the next time maybe we'll feature a couple more. Maybe somebody out there, too, wants to see if we can feature someone. So let us know, 936-6262. Naim, this has been great. Looking forward to doing this again and maybe showcasing a couple more.
Definitely. Appreciate it. Love the Sports Cage. I'll see you later.
Right on. That's Naim Cardinal. Like you said, and I was mentioned, indigenousrookicard.com. Really, really cool website. That was the Indigenous Sports Spotlight, brought to you by Fries Tallman Lumber. They have their own door store. And then, like I said, gift cards available. Why buy something from the big box store when you can buy it locally? Fries Tallman Lumber in Regina and Fort Capel, the sponsor of the Indigenous Sports Spotlight. It is a Sports Cage. If you're watching through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com, you got to see all those cool cards on the website there. And if not, that's all right. You're probably tuning in on 620 CKRM.
Take a trip down memory lane. Weekdays at 1 o'clock with Colin Lovequist. Number Ones at 1. A full hour of country's greatest hits and the stories behind them. We'll take a look back at musical milestones, celebrate some country music birthdays, and a whole lot more. It's all brought to you by McBids and North Home Windows in Foam Lake. Number Ones at 1 with Colin Lovequist on the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM. 620 CKRM on location.
It's Cody Glen broadcasting from the Gallagher Center for another day with the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery, giving away $100,000. Now, if you're into the whole sports betting thing, have you ever won $100,000 on your favorite team or most hated team? Probably not. Well, the odds of you getting $100,000 in this one is really good. We are about 47% sold, which means there's still a lot of tickets for you yet, but that means we're not going to be probably reaching a sellout. I don't think we'll be seeing a sellout this year. So that drastically improves your odds of walking away with any of these cash prizes. 10 prizes of $500, 14 prizes of $1,000, and then the grand prize of $100,000 that you could put towards anything. Pay off the mortgage, get rid of some car payments, get rid of the boat payments. Maybe you've got some renovations that you want to do downstairs. You could do that with the $100,000. Buy your ticket online at yorktonexhibition.com or call 1-866-783-4800. One more time, 1-866-783-4800.
Ever seen a cow in a toque or a sweater? You probably could. They're not fans of winter either. When it's freezing out, your herd still needs water. But good luck convincing them to trek half a mile through snowdrifts for a drink. That's where Keln Solar comes in. Their solar livestock watering systems let you drop a pump just about anywhere. No grid, no trenching, no drama. So let the cows stay cozy. You move the water. Keln Solar. They move water because your cows won't. Visit kelnsolar.com.
Getting in on more of the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. Then sit back, watch the game, grip your chair, and high-five anyone nearby. Every bet is 100% legal with the chance of winning cash in hand. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Bundle and save with Reliance Heath. Rent a new water heater and softener together and get $400 cash back. Call on Reliance Heath today.
All right, if you missed it, he's back. One more year, Trevor Harris. Well, maybe more than one more year, but he signed a one-year deal today with the Riders. Our Grey Cup MVP will be chucking again. Who is next? That's what we're asking here. National Football League Week 14 starts today. Dallas Cowboys, Detroit Lions, 7:15. Lions the 3-point favorite on Sports Select. And according to NFL Next Gen Stats, the Lions' playoff chances will improve to 59% with a win tonight. They fall to 22% with a loss. As for the Cowboys, they improved to 31% with a win. They dropped to 6% with a loss. Hockey, Prairie Junior Hockey League, Silver Foxes at the Wick, no concession, 7:45, Pilot Buttes in town. Sask Male U18 AAA, Midget AAA action, the Pac Canadians home to Notre Dame. National Hockey League, 10 games of Canadian teams. Ottawa welcomes the Rangers. Toronto's in Carolina. Flames home to Minnesota, and the Edmonton Oilers welcome the Kraken. They beat the Kraken 4-0. On the weekend. Canadian Senior Curling Championships, Amber Holland 8-6 win over New Brunswick this morning. Bruce Corday just getting off the ice now. We'll update you more next hour. And the Sportscage.com poll today. Now that the Regina Pats are back from their U.S. road trip, what is the biggest concern for the team heading into their final games before the Christmas break? You can vote at Sportscage.com. That's where you can be watching this program too. See my SJHL hat that we're going to give away a little bit later. Sportscage SJHL hat. Colson is wearing his as well. But let's go to the text line, Prairieland Rentals text line. I said we were going to get to this. And people are talking about Trevor Harris and coming back. Ross, we'll go to him. He says, I knew Trevor was coming back. And AJ also. As for receivers, I predict that Emilus and we'll have Shake and Bake back with a pay cut. All right. Only because I stand on the player's character. Thanks, Ross. Thanks for the text message there. The one that I said on the YouTube chat, Colson, Ryan, I think BC is trying to leverage the rule book with Hatcher. So this isn't about Harris, but about Keon Hatcher signing. We were talking to Farhan. I think BC is trying to leverage the rule book with Hatcher as well. Go over the cap, lose the pick, but then get the pick back for most Canadian snaps. Ryan's clever. Ryan's I think Ryan and I could go into business. Ryan should be involved in our purchase of the Optimist rink. I like how he thinks.
Yeah, I've been trying to look up the rules, and I don't know exact details yet. I can't find it. Heaven forbid there'd be a easy place to find all the CFL's rules. But in short,
it's like a microfiche. You know what a microfiche is?
No idea.
I know. So you're too young. A lot of people out there know it. Remember the old microfiche?
Okay.
I think it was fiche.
In short, there's a couple ways that teams, well, we all know they can lose draft picks if they go over the cap. It's if you hit $100,000 and you keep going, you start losing draft picks. Up to that point, you just lose $1 for every dollar you're over. But to gain draft picks, I think it's the most snaps by Canadians in the league. You get an extra one at the end of the second round.
I'm having a nosebleed here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think Nathan Rourke counts towards it because quarterbacks don't count towards the ratio.
Stupid.
Which, I mean, if they did, BC would be far and ahead in the lead with that one. So
yeah.
I could be wrong on that. Maybe the quarterbacks do count. I don't know. I can't find the rules.
They don't.
It would make sense they don't. But yeah, so there's that. And then there's another way that you can gain a pick because I know Calgary last year got an extra pick because BC went over so much or something like that. And then I also saw there's a rule where basically, let's say this guy's playing collegiate at U of R or something, and we're not sure of his draft eligibility yet, and the draft passes, then they find out after, oh, he was eligible for this draft. You can burn a pick in the next draft for that player is an option you can do too.
You ever seen the Simpsons episode where they show Homer's brain and there's like two monkeys and the one is like picking something out of the other monkey's back? That's what's in Homer. That's what's in my brain right now as you talk.
I thought you were going to say the one where it's full of crayons.
It's so confusing. You know what? Let's text Glen Suitor for hour 3. And we'll ask him. We got to. I don't like
he can pull up.
Yeah, I don't like to blindside him with questions. We can ask him about the ruling that Ryan is onto here, and maybe do we get a pick back for Canadian snaps? But I would almost guarantee that quarterbacks don't count.
Yeah, the Riders also played a lot of Canadians this year too, so I think we'd be in the running for that. But
we sure did. Back out, Prairie Land Rentals text line. Rod says Hardrick will be next, then Emelis and Allen. As for backup, Cohn has Harris's trust, says Rod. Will says AJ Allen, Jamarcus Hardrick. A little off the board on who the next domino pieces are to fall. You got a lot of free agents, right? In the CFL. A lot of one-year deals, 2 max. What about Jacob Brammer? Like, he's got to be up there.
Yeah. I think you want the whole O-line back.
Travion Tate, let's go. It's a big package deal of all. You look on the defensive line side, Mike Rowe, Shane Ray, Baldonado, Johnson, Marion, DeBreer, Lake Corte-Moore. He's not going anywhere. He's still partying in Regina. He's in. Caleb Sanders. Yeah. I'm starting to lead towards Cohn as maybe the backup next year. Although I'd like to see Mayer back just because I want to have him back on the show.
And see him at Halloween with Mike Rose.
Yeah. Captain Harvey Ryder said the AJ will sign as Harris did. He'll sign next. I think that's what he's saying. All right. We got hour 2 coming up. We still got winning to do. We're going to give away one of these snazzy Sportscage SJHL hats because the SJHL report's coming up. We got tickets to give away to the Pats game tomorrow night. We're not sure how we're going to do all that, but it's going to happen. Hour 2, we'll have Les Lazeruk stepping in. We will have that SJHL report and more. Keep the text messages coming. Prairie Land Rentals text line, 936-6262. It's a Sportscage on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Broadcasting from Regina, around the world at 620CKRM.com.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM News. Laura Lee Davies is now the permanent chief of police in Regina, the first woman in city and provincial history to take the role after nearly 30 years with the service. Davies has worked across many units, from patrol to plainclothes investigations, and she has led crisis negotiation and emergency response teams. Mayor Chad Baczynski says her deep knowledge of Regina will help strengthen trust between police and residents. Davies also developed the service's Truth and Reconciliation strategy. She has served as acting chief since April, with her official promotion effective November 25th. Grey Cup MVP Trevor Harris is staying in green and white. The veteran quarterback signed a one-year extension with the Saskatchewan Roughriders today. Harris led the Riders to the 2025 CFL Championship, throwing for 302 yards and a record 85.2% completion rate in a 25-17 win over Montreal. The 39-year-old enters 2026 ranked 13th all-time in CFL passing yards. Fort Capel RCMP are currently on the scene of a serious collision on Highway 10, about 5 kilometers northeast of Edgeley. As the investigation is in preliminary stages, the RCMP do not have any additional details to share at this time. Officers at the scene report icy road conditions. Please slow down if you're traveling in the area. The highway is currently closed for an undetermined amount of time. Detours are in place and motorists should expect delays in the area. Access to animal medication is becoming increasingly difficult, according to the president of the Canadian Veterinary Medical Association. Speaking before the Commons Ag Committee, Tracy Fisher says a shortage of approved products can make it difficult to treat livestock and pets.
Without these medications, veterinarians cannot properly do their jobs, and animals, both companion and farmed animals, suffer. This is not an abstract problem. These shortages affect Canadians every day, from the price of milk, eggs, and meat at the grocery store to the treatment options available for their pets.
Fisher cited a change in Health Canada's good manufacturing practice regulations that requires company facilities in other countries to be checked by Canadian officials as a contributor to that problem. Health Canada said the change, made in 2017, was done to increase oversight of animal health products. Saskatchewan's housing market posted another strong month in November, marking 29 straight months of above-average sales and 15,430 sales so far this year. The province recorded 1,073 sales, down 9% from last November, but still 12% above the 10-year average. CEO Chris Gurrett said strong demand and low inventory continue to drive results. And doctors are urging people to get their flu shots as cases are on the rise, especially among children. Montreal Children's Hospital infectious disease specialist Dr. Jesse Papenberg says the H3N2 strain of the flu has mutated since the vaccine was developed earlier this year, but it's still wise to get the shot.
For H3N2, there still seems to be some protection, and it's worthwhile to get it for that. But also for the other components in the vaccine, the H1N1, the influenza B that tends to circulate after the influenza A season.
Hospitals are seeing more children with the flu, possibly because the influenza season started earlier November than last year. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Brought to you by Line X Regina, Serious Protection Killer Lux, 1865 McCarra Street. Weather tonight mainly cloudy, some flurries in the area and a low down to -9. Tomorrow, flurries ending, mostly cloudy. And we're falling to -15. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, a low down to -21. Saturday, partly sunny, but a high of -17. Sunday, mostly cloudy, high of 9. And looking ahead to Monday, mostly cloudy. A few flurries possible and a high of -6. Currently, downtown Regina, cloudy sky. It's -1, but it feels like -8.
For 40 years, the team from Line X Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Line X Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
We're the big dogs. We're the big dogs. We're the big dogs. We're the big dogs. I'm not here to talk about Nathan Rourke. I think it's our time. We're the big dogs. I think it's our time. We're the big dogs. It's our time.
That is our Trevor Harris cut. Little EDM music there. Electronic dance music. Why did we change it from techno? When did we change it from techno? Are they? Colson says they're two different things. Hey, give me a steel guitar. Give me the crying of a steel guitar and I'm all right. Sportscage on Thursdays for Access Communications. Thanks for making time. It's Colson riding shotgun with me. We got a bunch of guests still to join us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. We do see your text messages coming through on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. The big news, if you're just driving home and you haven't been online or seen it or heard it, Trevor Harris, 1-year deal with the Riders. So he's coming back. Who's next? We're asking. And I think the front runner from all of our text messages, Colson, is Jamarcus Hardrick. I think it's Jamarcus Hardrick. And then it's a split. Some are AJ Ouellette, some are AJ Allen, Sam Emelis. Those are probably the front runners for the next domino to fall. But Hardrick leading the way. Throw Jacob Brammer in there. What about Dante Myers? He had a little run. He had a little workout. A workout with Minnesota. He's definitely coming back. Joe Robustelli, Sean Bain Jr. You get a lot, eh? It's a CFL. And then who's the backup quarterback next year? Is Jake Mayer going to come back, restructure things a bit, or just sign another deal, come back and knowing that he's number 2, but he will play? It's a 2-quarterback league. One guy's not going post to post. Maybe it's Jack Cohen's time. Here you go, son. We need you to play this many games. Tommy Stevens. I want to see Tommy. I've always said I wanted to see Tommy sling it. Tommy's our short yardage guy. Let's run it all back. And see what happens. All right. In moments, we're going to be joined by Les Lazeruk, voice of the Saskatoon Blades, voice of the Saskatoon Berries. Longtime friend, great guy. So before we get to that, let's give away in this hour 2 tickets to the Regina Pats game tomorrow night against Chase Sircan and the Brandon Wheat Kings. 7 p.m. puck drop under the orange top. 2 tickets with your name on it. Colson's taking us. Colson's going to pick the winner, sorry. You got to text in, and you got to leave a comment of some sort. Whether it's hockey related, whether it's football related, Trevor Harris, whether it's the show. Let us know, 936-6262, and then just put Pats. That means you want to go to the game tomorrow night. Let's go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Western Pizza, where if you are part of a gift exchange, which I'm part of 3 of them I found out in last night, Western Pizza gift card, auto. Don't even have to rethink that. And then if you got a staff potluck, a company potluck, any kind of potluck, pick up a Western Pizza wheel or any of the Greek favorites that they have at your local Western Pizza. Although my daughter was at a potluck yesterday at school, and guess what? Sick today. Man, knew that was coming. Let's go out. Western Pizza Guest Hotline, joined by Les Lazeruk, my old friend. How are you doing up there? I love the muzzer. Love the muzzer.
Yeah. Doing fine, Barney. Just doing fine. I mean, it's cold. Actually, it's not that cold, really. It's nice today, but the weather just keeps going like a yo-yo up and down. You never know what you're going to get from day to day. It's supposed to be down to -30 with the wind chill in the next couple of nights, so can you make up your mind as to what you're going to do with this? I mean, it was beautiful this morning. It was +1 when I got back home and walked into the door at 5 a.m. coming back from the road from Brandon.
Oof. I was going to ask you what time you had arrived. And then did you just go straight to work from there?
No, I hung out for a couple of hours with my wife and then went to work.
Vera made you a porridge and a coffee?
No, I do all that myself. I'm a very independent person in the morning. She's not a good morning person.
I was actually talking to Mom up there today, and I was wondering how much snow they got over because we got a little a little bit here, and then it's so wet. And I said, the weather's bipolar. She didn't quite get that, but it's you never know what we're gonna get. Okay, let's start. Hey, let's start with Trevor Harris. It was 100%. He was coming back after everything. You read the sports up there. You're in the know. You watch the games. 100%. He was coming back for you, Les.
Absolutely. I mean, he said he wanted to come back. It was just a matter of getting together with Jeremy O'Day. I mean, I said it on the air here. I said, if whoever needs to go and do it, if it's got to be O'Day, Corey Mace, Mark Mueller, Craig Reynolds, send the whole shooting match of them down to Waldo, Ohio, get the deal done, give Rider Nation the early Christmas present, which they have done now, and now watch the dominoes fall. You're asking who's going to be next. Here's our buddy Justin Dunk over at 3 Down Nation talking today about Samuel Emlis, saying that if Trevor Harris signs with the Riders, what out of us on a scale of 1 to 10 are you likely going to re-sign with the Riders? And he said 20 out of 10. So the next guy, in my mind, to sign is going to be Sam Emlis because he wants to be back right away. So do a lot of guys. So do the guys that you were mentioning. Jamarcus Hardrick wants to be back. Jacob Brammer wants to be back. Dante Myers, AJ Willette. I mean, they all want to come back. They all have said that they want to bring it back and try and win 2 in a row, something that's never been done by a Saskatchewan Roughriders team. That's easier said than done. It's not going to be easy to do it in 2026. But if you get that kind of commitment from everybody and everybody's willing to do it for the right hometown rates, that's going to be important. That's going to be the rub right there. Are you prepared to do it for the rates that everybody's going to be palatable with? Then you can bring it back possibly.
I was going to talk about the Hiroshi.
That's right.
What is MLS? Because, when you see Philpott and Farhan let us know they have the same ages. He has the same agent, Philpott. Yep. And so it's like, okay, now, and a little bit of ego in there as well and all that. You're going to want the same number, if not more. So that's not the haircut that we might need.
Yeah, maybe not. But I mean, he could probably get $250,000 somewhere else. But again, he is a buddy of Harris. He was a favorite target of Trevor Harris. He knows what he's going to get as a member of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and catching passes from Trevor Harris. He doesn't know what he's going to get trying to catch passes from Chad Kelly in Toronto or Nathan Rourke in BC or Davis Alexander, God forbid, in Montreal. I mean, he doesn't know what he's going to get. He doesn't know what kind of effect he's going to have on the offense. He knows what he's going to get here. And if he needs his ego stroked, that's going to be enough stroking of the ego, even if he gets only $200,000 compared to $250,000. Another Grey Cup ring would look pretty good compared to that $250,000.
And with BC signing Hatcher and Montreal signing Philpott, I don't think they have the cake to break. So it's going to end up being a Toronto. It's end up maybe an Ottawa, Winnipeg, Edmonton. Yeah, so
maybe
Calgary. But yeah, it's interesting. But the offensive line, and you look at the Grey Cup game, and you saw it, you watched it, you've been watching football your whole life, you get it. Like Trevor Harris, like he said himself, he said, I didn't have to wear shoulder pads. Like how important an offensive line is.
When you can sit back in the rocking chair as a 39-year-old quarterback and just basically pick your spots at will. I mean, he completed 85% of his passes in the Grey Cup game. That's a Grey Cup record. That's crazy. And 302 yards, that's phenomenal. So, yeah, the offensive line is ultimately the key. They've got everybody back from injury just in time. And if they get all those guys back for next season and they can stay healthy as a group, then they're going to do big things again.
All right, let's shift over to the Western Hockey League. Joining us here, it's Les Lazeruk up in Saskatoon, voice of the Saskatoon Blades, Saskatoon Berries. Last night, you guys are in Brandon. If we look at the Eastern Conference, Les, and you get to watch a lot of hockey, you've seen a lot of hockey. Anything surprising you as we sit here early December?
The beginning of the season, Brandon getting off to a slow start was a surprise. They were 0-4-1. Since then, they're 12-7 and starting to make their move up the standings in the Eastern Conference. So don't be surprised if they're in the mix here pretty soon. Right now, we've got basically 3 tiers, Barney. We've got the top tier, with Edmonton, Medicine Hat, and Prince Albert. And the Raiders have fallen to the Tigers their last couple of games. And they're going to play 3-3 this weekend in Calgary, Red Deer, and Edmonton. And by the way, all three of those games are teddy bear toss games. So that's going to be a lot of fun and long days for the Prince Albert Raiders on that trip. But, with that being said, they've been tremendous. They have the second coming of Tanner Mollendijk on their team in Daxon Rudolph, who's the best player in the division, in the East Division, and maybe in the Eastern Conference, I would dare say. He's tremendous. He's the guy. He's the straw that stirs the drink, and that straw is actually led a little bit by Justice Christensen, who may be the best captain in the Western Hockey League in the Eastern Conference at the very least. I mean, that's a tremendous 1-2 punch. And Ryan McDonald is better start getting some credit for being a very good head coach. Young guy who came through the Raiders system, knows all about it. He went to the games as a kid, and now here he is. He's the guy leading the troops, and he's doing an outstanding job. So the Raiders are legit. As far as I'm concerned, they're legit. There was supposed to be them and Brandon and Saskatoon at the top of the division. Right now, the Raiders are, 9 points ahead or 8 points ahead of the Blades and about 15 ahead of Brandon. So, those two teams have got a long ways to go to catch them, but there's a lot of finagling for position beyond that. The second tier, you've probably got Brandon, you got Saskatoon, you got Moose Jaw, you got Calgary in there. And then the final tier, you've got the Regina Pats and the Red Deer Rebels, Lethbridge and Swift Current. They're all going to battle for the 8th and final playoff spot in all likelihood.
I watched Calgary play the Pats here, and I found, and you watch a lot of hockey, so I want your eyeball test here. Big, strong, physical team, and I was surprised the Pats put it to overtime and then pulled that game out. But a team that's maybe that you can see right now that's built for that long playoff grind and coming out and then having to go. Would it be Prince Albert?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Prince Albert would be. Medicine Hat is really coming on, too, here right now. And they weren't supposed to. Here they had all these guys that they lost. McKenna going to college, Ryder Ritchie going to college, Caden Lindstrom going to college, other guys that that were on the team last year. No more Mollendijk, no more Harrison Menigan in goal. They lose a lot of guys, and yet here they are, right back. Willie Desjardins signs a lot of good young players, Americans and Junior A guys, brings them in, and they're a wagon again. They're tough. They scored 9 on the Blades back last Friday and looked really, really solid in doing so. And then they've beaten PA twice since then. So it's hard to ignore Medicine Hat. And Edmonton, they're built for this as well. They've got a really strong squad, top to bottom. I like what I see out of them as well. So come playoff time, bring the popcorn. If it's those three teams, I'm there to watch that for as much of the springtime as I can.
Okay, I want your honest here. We got to take the Blades. We got to take SaskTel Center. It'll always be Sask Place to me out of the mix here. But playoff atmosphere in the Eastern Conference, packed. You've been in probably all of them at some point along the way. Mm-hmm. I've been in Swift. When it's been packed, you can't beat it. The Art Hauser Center in PA, which is your favorite barn packed? Is it the Hauser?
Yeah, it's the Hauser. Absolutely. I love going to Prince Albert, regardless of whether it's packed or not. And, of course, every time the Blades go there, it is packed because the fans go there just to boo Saskatoon. They want to beat the Blades so they can hear the Guess Who playing at the end of it running back to Saskatoon. That is such a tradition. And I sit there, and I'm a Winnipeg guy who grew up with the Guess Who, and I love their music. And I don't get upset anymore when the Blades lose because I know I'm going to hear one of my favorite tunes of all time played by one of my favorite bands of all time. So it doesn't bother me in the least. The fans sit there and they go, Lazeruk, you lost out there. Joke's on you. I'm kind of enjoying it right now.
Okay, trade bait. And it's going to start. We're going to start talking about it more here. We got Lakovic and Moose Jaw. I think a lot of people are thinking that he, could end up in Kelowna in the interior there. But trade bait for some of these teams. Who are some big names that you could see getting moved, maybe post Christmas and into that playoff push?
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to know for sure. I haven't even seen Regina yet this year. So, there's a Keats Fawcett who's got 18 goals this year and has had a tremendous season on a team that's, interesting
flying.
to try and watch on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah.
Is he going to get moved? Does Dale Durkach do that necessarily? Because he could probably be back again next year. So, you've got to think of what you've got coming up from a Pats perspective. You got Maddox Schultz and Liam Pure going to play for you full time next year at age 16. You want to make sure they're not the only guys. You can't just get rid of everybody because you want to, because it's time to look forward and ahead. You got to have some guys to play with them. So getting rid of Fawcett necessarily isn't a good thing. But yeah, I'd say that.
What does Swift or Lethbridge have?
Lethbridge has Logan Warmel. There's the guy right there that I think would be of real interest to a lot of teams. He's definitely a goal scorer that could be of some help along the line. That would be the key one out of Lethbridge. Swift, man, I have a hard time seeing. I mean, Hudson Darby, who's a veteran guy, but they just got him from Portland this year. And again, and not local guy, coach's son. The heck with that. I mean, hey, son, we're trading you away. We brought you in, and now we're going to send you off to God knows where. Prince George, how do you like them apples? But, I mean, there's a great team. The Cougars are a wagon as well. A very good team out in the Western Conference. So anybody who's 19 or 20 on some of those lower-ranked teams, Red Deer, I mean, do you get rid of some of those guys? Matthew Gard, does he become somebody that's expendable from the Red Deer Rebels, a guy who just got drafted by the NHL this past summer? He's only 18, though, so maybe you don't necessarily do that if you're Brent Sutter. But any good 19 or 20, and there's the other thing, too, with the changing landscape, the quality 20s aren't quite there that they have been in past years, and even some of the quality 19s aren't there that they were in the past. So, yeah, it's been slow moving. I talked to Kurt Hill in Edmonton back a couple of Sundays ago. Actually, it was this past Sunday. It feels like Monday to me, Barney, because of that game last night.
Because you got home at 5 in the morning from Brandon.
Yeah, it feels like a Monday to me. And I'm just totally bejeezered here. But no, back on Sunday in Edmonton, Kurt Hill says to me, he says, there's hardly been any movement. And he's right. There really hasn't been big movement. All the trades have been a player for draft picks, and the massaging here and there. When the big blockbuster happens, the first big one, then you're going to see a bunch of dominoes fall, and you may be surprised who gets moved as a result. But until such time as, say, Alakovich gets dealt, if indeed Moose Jaw chooses to want to do that, they don't necessarily have to. They're doing pretty well. They could maybe win a round of the playoffs if they get hot, because he just absolutely gets going. He kills the Blades. He's got 5 goals in 3 head-to-head games against Saskatoon this year. So if you're Moose Jaw and you come up against the Blades in the first round of the playoffs, you want that guy on your side in order to possibly win some games for you in the first round of the playoffs.
You know what I was going to say when you were kind of talking there, and you're talking about Darby and Swift, and I forgot about that. And then you got Durkach and Regina, and then his son, and then even you look back last year or whatever. Although Hildebrand was up in PA, he maybe could have been with the Blades and all that. It's very interesting how we're seeing a lot of front office or coaches, and now their sons coming up.
Well, coaches and front office, kids coming through, makes me feel old is what it does do, Barney. I mean, I mentioned that to Regan Darby. I was talking to him on the bench, and I says, God, I remember you playing. Yeah. Even Mark Derlago yesterday I chatted with in Brandon. I mean, that's Billy Derlago's nephew. Bill's brother, his son, and Mark says, I says to him, I remember you playing 20 years ago. He says, is it that long ago already? I says, yeah, it was 20 years ago. He had a career in Europe, and now he's still playing senior hockey with the Hartney Blues, for heaven's sake.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Wow.
He plays every Sunday whenever he can, whenever the schedule allows him. So it's fun to see that sort of thing. I mean, Andrew Sauer, the Blades assistant coach, played with the Keniston team whenever he could last year. I don't know if he's playing with them this year. He is, eh?
I watched him last year, and then we just had a text message come in. Our listeners are on the ball. Travis Moen coaching in Swift and his boy. There's another one.
That's right. Travis and Carter. Well, I mean, that's basically a family affair in Swift Current. Parker Rondo is on that team. His father, Jeremy, I had a chat with him in Saskatoon last year, and I said, hey, your kid chipped off the old block. He said, well, no, not exactly. He's not as big as I was, and certainly not as rough and tough as I was, and that's true. I mean, Jeremy Rondo was a big horse of a guy that was tough to control when he was with Swift Current. same thing. And then you get Sawyer Dingman in Swift Current. Well, his dad is
Yeah.
Chris, of course,
Yeah.
not a Swift Current Bronco back then, but I mean, he was a pretty darn tough and tough customer with the Brandon Wheat Kings.
Brandon Wheat
Day,
Kings,
moving
the
on
wagon.
to the NHL. Yeah, back in the late 90s. So, no, there's a lot of that. It's a lot of fun to see the kids come through and how different they are from their fathers, too, because the game has changed so much, too. That's the thing. I mean,
It has.
20 years ago, you could do some of the stuff, although they tried to bring it back last night in Medicine Hat, the game against PA. Did you watch any of the highlights of that?
No.
What a show that was. Oh, it was crazy. There was goaltender getting involved. He actually got kicked out of the game. Dimitri Fortin took over in goal for
I did see this.
for the Raiders, and he broke some sticks after the fights were done of the opposition of the Tigers. And it's like, are you kidding me? What is going on here? It's a rodeo instead of a hockey game all of a sudden.
Les Lazeruk's joining us here on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. I want to get a couple of things from you before I let you go. First off, speaking of noodle scratchers and us feeling old, and we are seeing the Olympics and we're seeing the NHLers come back. It just feels like Nagano was like a couple of years ago, but it's such a big deal, and the rink's not ready, and it looks 3 to 4 feet shorter. Isn't that something?
Okay, the 3 to 4 feet doesn't bother me because, I mean, let's face it. Many years ago, the Boston Garden was 11 feet shorter. So big deal. I don't care about the 4 feet. So it's going to be 196 feet long instead of 200. The fact that it's not ready yet, now that is concerning. Can you imagine that thing? I mean, it takes me back to the first time the Blades got to play in Portland at the old Rose Garden. And we got there, and we were the first team to ever play there. 17,500 fans. The game started an hour and a half late because they were still pouring water on the ice surface and bolting the stands into place. And in fact, they got to the point they did so good of a job that they didn't have an opening for the Zamboni to come out. And we had to wait for that before they finally were able to do that. But, to have the building not ready yet, what's going to be wrong with it? You end up going in there for the test and you realize, the ice plant doesn't work all that well. And it's like, come on, the Olympics are in like 4 weeks' time. You better have this stuff ready. Otherwise, there's going to be no ice hockey competition at the Olympics. And the NHLers who are begging to be involved, want to be involved, may not get the opportunity. Yeah, maybe I'm overreacting. I probably am. It's not unusual for me to do that sort of a thing. But, Barney, it concerns me that the rink isn't ready yet in Milan.
Yeah, and how much hockey is going to be played on there. It's something else. Okay, here's another quick one. I know you don't want to dabble in politics, especially Regina politics, but let's talk some people off the fence here, because I was trying to make sense of it yesterday. Being a Saskatoon guy, now living here for 19 years almost, I always thought it was odd how the city ran the outdoor rinks here. In Saskatoon, they have some of the best outdoor rinks. They run longer because it's community associations and volunteers that do it less. Let's just tell people in Regina, if the city takes it away, it might be a good thing.
Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely. Let the volunteers look after it. Make the rinks ready when they're ready to be needed, and there's going to be a need. And when the volunteers look after it, you're going to be ready to go when the time comes. Not dawdling around and waiting for the city to make it away from place to place to place and finally make it ready and upset everybody in the community. I mean, let the volunteers look after it. Let the community look after the rinks. They'll do their job. It'll be fine. The city can just go ahead. If they have to collect some rental or something like that, just let the money come in. What the heck? That's all that city should really do in that situation, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah. And then they always close them too early. Okay, before I let you go, Colson, throw it up here. This is something else. I saw this today. It's not quite Cooperalls. If you're watching the stream, the Blades are going retro. And that isn't the jersey they really, well, I guess they did wear with the Cooperalls, but they got the pants and the socks to make it look like Cooperalls. Right away, I go back. I'm thinking of Larry DePalma, Grant Kachuk, Randy Smith in the Cooperalls. That's a sharp look.
Wendell
That's a sharp
Clark.
look. Wendell.
Yeah, it is. It is a good look, and I like the old. That's the original Pac-Man look from back in the 80s. So, and nice models there, Rowan Calvert and Tyler Parr. Good job, boys.
Yeah, that's a great look. All right, Les, thanks for doing this. I don't know if we'll get a chance to, although I'm up there quite a bit in the next little bit, buy you a pint or something. But if not, Christos Nanadusia, my Ukrainian friend, and maybe we'll get a chance to have a Daiboja at some point.
That would be nice. I would look forward to that, Barney.
Sardinias.
Yes, absolutely. Alex will look after us.
Yeah. Thanks, Les. Thanks for doing this, bud. Take care.
Not a problem. You
there
too.
He is.
Bye-bye.
Voice of the Saskatoon Blades. Voice of the Saskatoon Berries, Les Lazeruk. Man, that guy has seen a lot of hockey. And then, like a few years ago, although I was happy for the Ripplingers in Moose Jaw that they won, them beating the Blades, and the Blades not... heartbreak. But, yeah. Okay, so we got Pat tickets to give away, 936-6262. People are texting in, letting us know their comments. Still more to come. It's kind of a hockey hour here, although Trevor Harris did re-sign with the Riders. You're all excited. I see the text. We'll read some of those. We'll have Clutch Performer coming up. Maybe it'll just be Trevor Harris. Let's make it simple. And then also the SJHL report. And giving away one of these new Sportscage SJHL hats. They're snazzy. If you're watching the stream, thank you very much through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. And if not, you're streaming or listening to us on 620 CKRM.
More power, more output, more comfort. The Fendt Ideal Combine is ready to roll on your farm. The most innovative and modern combine on the market, the Fendt Ideal Combine has exceptional efficiency backed by the industry's best warranty. An unbelievably comfortable cab. The Fendt Ideal Combine is ahead of the game and the best in the game. The Fendt Ideal Combine is ready to roll on your farm. See for yourself at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. nicksservice.com.
620 CKRM on location.
Cody Glyden back here at the Gallagher Center in Yorkton for the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery. Let's get you set up here with a whole bunch of money. How does that sound? Maybe you've always wanted to go on that dream sports trip. Perhaps you've wanted to go and see your favorite NFL team. Maybe you've wanted to travel to a couple different destinations with the Saskatchewan Roughriders across the CFL. Maybe you've got a favorite NHL team that you've always wanted to see and you've never been able to get to their home barn. Well, you know, if you win the $100,000, maybe you could go on that dream sports trip that you've always wanted to go. Blue Jays had one heck of a run this fall. Maybe you want to go to Toronto and watch a Blue Jays game. Well, if you win this $100,000, you could put that towards that ultimate sports trip just for you and your special someone. Tickets are $100 each, 3 for $250, 25 chances to win $100,000 tomorrow night. 1-866-783-4800, 1-866-783-4800.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Margaret had questions, she talked to Brian Golly.
He's very personable, professional, and keeps you confident in what he's doing.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone. Call Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions, 306-546-2533.
I would not hesitate to recommend him to friend, relative, or anybody else.
It's time to unwrap great savings during the Access Communications Boxing Week sale. For a limited time, Access is offering all new and existing customers 1 month free with any new service of Access Internet, TV, phone, or security. Plus, choose your gift of either a $50 credit or free Fire TV stick. The Access Communications Boxing Week sale is on now. Visit myaccess.ca today.
If you have a garage door that's running a little rough, you should really have Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists, come out and repair it. Or it may need to be replaced altogether. Yeah, just call Busy Bee Doors, the local experts who have been in the business for many, many years, because they can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Honey, calling Busy Bee.
Good idea. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
Clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Colson, you have one? You want to start it? Okay, he's not ready. I'm keeping it simple. Trevor Harris signing 1-year deal, sticking with the Riders, fresh off the Grey Cup victory, Grey Cup MVP. He's back. Mama Bear said, "Go play again. Go play some more football." Kids like to watch you.
Probably give it to J.O. too for whatever the signing bonus is.
I'd like to talk to J.O.
That'd be good. My clutch performer coming out of the WHL, Xavier Wendt of the Tri-City Americans, comes up with the goalie goal last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did I miss this? Nice.
And to top it all off, so WHL posts it, obviously, and then the NHL reposts it and goes, "He went for it." And I was like,
good one.
Nice.
Clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. We at the SJHL report coming up. Let's get some text messages out of the way here first. Clayton's talking about the Cooperalls. And so Clayton's probably listening on the radio. He didn't see the stream and our YouTube channel and what they were. Good question. Why they are banned or not used anymore? I don't think they're banned. I don't think Cooperalls are banned. I don't think they're made anymore for starters. And I would think, and Clayton, I don't know if you wore Cooperalls back in the day. They were restricting. They're not a great invention. How kids skate nowadays, how people skate, that low bend. I don't know. Am I crazy? I think they're just not a great innovation when it comes to how the game's played now anymore. What's more? Olette and Sam for sure. Greg's saying that. The system is so slow to pull up text messages. We had a really good one. Was it Dave and Regina saying, here's a good question. I'm curious what kind of money Harris is taking and if he's leaving some on the table to sign other guys. That's what I wonder. That would be a solid move. He's older, right? Probably taken care of. You want to make sure you're getting paid and taking care of things for down the road, but you also want your boys to come back as well. Paul got the assignment correct because he wants to go to the Pats game too. So Paul says, I'm super pumped for Harris to come back. I think this will be the first of almost all the dominoes to fall. Next being his best friend, AJ. And then Paul writes Pats. So Pat, he wants in for the Pat tickets.
He's on the wheel of winning. Last year, Trevor Harris's take home, all in, if he got all incentives and everything, $453,700, according to 3 Down Nation. In 24, he earned $473, give or take.
Paul on the YouTube chat here says, I think most of the starters will be back to repeat. Definitely see most signing for 2 years with the Cup being here in 2027. Oh, the Grey Cup being here. Will that play into some of them? Good message there. Wilbur says, please no country music talk, please. Metro from Kenora. A name like Metro you got. And I texted that one back. I said, steel guitar makes the world right. We talk music here. We talk pop culture. We talk everything. It's a sports cage, but we talk it all. You know what? Here's one. 1980. There's a lot of Led Zeppelin fans out there. On this day in 1980, the rock band Led Zeppelin announced their official breakup. Several months after the death of their drummer, John Bonham. Never a big Led Zeppelin fan. I was born in 77, but they're still big. They're big. People love them. But I did start listening to them. I did take a liking to them when I saw the cover band, Kashmir, Buds on Broadway in Saskatoon once. I was like, whoa. I'm a sucker for cover bands. Like, absolute sucker. And then working in rock radio in your younger days, anybody that worked in rock radio has always done this. When you need a long break or you need a song or you want to run to the tavern for a quick pint around around the corner, which is what we did at Lloyd, I remember. You play Stairway to Heaven. 8 minutes and 3 seconds long.
I've heard that one before.
And then the shortest song I remember being, was that Blur? It was like 2 minutes. But yeah, some of the Led Zeppelin songs. I love Kashmir. And I guess Puffy's, I can't really talk about, he's a weirdo. But he had that remix with Jimmy Page. That was great. I love the Immigrant Song. When that comes on and that gets revved up, you got to use that as an intro tune on a hockey rink. Yeah, 1980. Led Zeppelin broke up. A lot of Led Zeppelin fans out there. I bet you will get a bunch of text messages, Led Zeppelin fans. Songs. Keep them coming. And you can just tell us your favorite Led Zeppelin song and then say Pats. And you're in to win the Pats tickets. SJHL report is coming up next with Benny Walchuk here on the Sports Cage, here on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan on 620 CKRM.
It's time to unwrap great savings during the Access Communications Boxing Week sale. For a limited time, Access is offering all new and existing customers 1 month free with any new service of Access Internet, TV, phone, or security. Plus, choose your gift of either a $50 credit or free Fire TV stick. The Access Communications Boxing Week sale is on now. Visit myaccess.ca today.
620 CKRM on location.
Back here at the Gallagher Center in Yorkton for the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery. For those of you who grew up in East Central Saskatchewan, or for those who maybe live elsewhere but have roots to Yorkton, you probably remember how fun the Yorkton Summer Fair is. I know I've been there many, many times. We were talking to Aaron Keenley, who's the mayor of Yorkton, yesterday. He actually met his future wife, his current wife, at the summer fair here in Yorkton, put on by the exhibition. Of course, they've got many other events throughout the year, including the Harvest Showdown, which just wrapped up a few weeks ago. And they want to continue with that type of programming here in East Central Saskatchewan. So that's why they're having this fundraising lottery. You can help them out by buying a ticket, and that just might help you out in the long run, because you just might win the grand prize of $100,000. Why wouldn't you want to get a ticket for that? They're $100 each, 3 for $250, 1-866-783-4800, or buy it online at YorktonExhibition.com.
Get it hot and get it fast, Western Pizza.
You hear those jingle bells? That means the holiday season is on its way, so it's time to start planning your work or family holiday parties. Leave the cooking to Western Pizza and enjoy all your Western Pizza favorites this holiday season. Call your local Western Pizza about catering or hosting your holiday get-together today. Western Pizza gift cards, saving holiday gift exchanges since 1976.
And get it hot and get it fast, Western Pizza.
The Black Friday Monster Sale has been carried over at Extreme Hockey and Sport. Composite hockey sticks starting at just $50. Select skates up to 50% off. Gloves, protection, and helmets up to 40% off. Huge savings on Yeti. Baseball gear is 25 to 45% off, and goalie pads, blockers, and gloves starting at 25 and up to 40% off. Plus, all apparel is 25 to 40% off. It's the Monster Sale you can't afford to miss. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, conveniently located at the Cooperator Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
Time now for the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League reports with Benny Walchuk on the Sports Cage. The SJHL report is brought to you by Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor, GP Financial Services, and Aviso Wealth. If you need a second opinion on your retirement plan, Chad and his local team are available for a no-obligation meeting.
All right, Benny, before we get going with the SJHL, T-Mobile, Trevor Harris back with the Riders. He was always coming back, right?
Well, absolutely. Actually, we had to guess what day it was, and I guessed Monday, so I'm maybe a little bit short, but yeah, great news for Saskatchewan Roughriders. And if I'm playing that high level of any kind of sport at 40 years old and still play, I might as well keep on playing and make some good money. But yeah, great news for the Green and White.
Who's the next domino? What's the next domino that falls?
Very interesting. I think Sam Emelis probably will sign here shortly. Of course, AJ Ouellette, I'm sure. I think, like I said, Trevor Harris was the guy that starts the domino effect. But I think if I'm getting the ball thrown to me like that, so accurate so quickly, and Samuel Emelis, I think I'm next. So, and who knows, across the CFL, they see that Trevor Harris is back. Maybe we can get another big target from somewhere else. We'll have to see what happens with free agency.
Let's throw up the power rankings at sportscage.com and what we have this week as Colson shoots those up. Flin Flon is a good hockey team, especially when they get to play out of the Whitney Forum, as Kindersley found out last week. I was really interested in that. But when you go to the are you pulling those up, Colson? Yep. We got to fire it up. It's got to warm up. It's like an old Cutlass. Takes a bit. But when you look at the power rankings, Benny, and you got a big hand in that, what Nipawin moving up. What do you see here? And take us through it.
Yeah, the biggest thing is Nipawin, Estevan, they move their way up. Flin Flon stays on top. And Flin Flon, we said 7 of their 11 games in November are played at the Whitney Forum after a big stretch on the road. So anytime you can play at home is great, but anytime you can play at the Whitney Forum, it's even better. I know they got some good goaltending. Finn Warner came back from the WHL, the 17-year-old. He's played good alongside Devin Peck. So they've been very good so far. And then another maybe tumble, you see the Humboldt Broncos. I think even a couple of weeks ago, we had Humboldt at the top of the SJHL power rankings, but they've lost 7 games in a row right now, and kind of just maybe defensively not playing like they'll have under a Braden Kalmosko coach team. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they respond here as we get we're only a handful of games here before the holiday break here in a couple of weeks. So that's intriguing. I know Yorkton's making the way up. I know tough overtime loss on Tuesday, but they've won, I think, 8 of their last 13 games or something like that as well. So it just shows that if you go on a little bit of a stumble, you can go from first to 8 very, very quickly.
It's the SJHL report here. Benny Walchuk's joining us, brought to you by Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor, GP Financial Services, and Avisa Wealth. Your employee plan might not be right for you. You better get a second opinion on things. Chad Reach and his team can figure it out. World Junior A Challenge, that came up, I guess it is December. Like that starts here on the weekend, or like right away here, Benny.
It does, yeah. They're actually playing some pre-tournament games. Actually, yesterday they lost to Canadies 2-1, and then they play United States today, another pre-tournament game, and then they'll kick things off on Sunday against in Sweden. So 6, of course, SJHLers are part of that roster. Trevor Blevins is the head coach. You got Carter Hansen as the assistant coach. Emma Galloway, Jason Saville from the SJHL and the support staff, and they're packed with SJHL talent and SJHL staff, and it's a year. I think Canada West has a great shot. I think they have a little bit more sandpaper than they have in last years to go against these Swedens and these United States team that like to be a little bit more finesse. So, and they do have a very good goaltender. You know, of course, you got Luke McKechnie, who's from Lumsden. He's playing in the Alberta Junior Hockey League. He's good. And they have Tate Timmerman, who helped the Northern Manitoba Blizzard capture MJHL title, playing with Warman, and of course the Saskatchewan Blades prospect. So he had a great performance yesterday in the pre-tournament tune-up. So I think they're going to be able to keep the puck out. We'll see goals scoring wise if they get able to put the puck on the net, but it's always great to wear that maple leaf for each and every individual who gets a chance to do so.
Couple of kids down in Estevan really tearing things up right now. Sorry, we froze there. I don't know if I froze. Maybe I said a couple of the kids in Estevan I was looking are really tearing it up there. What can you tell us about them? Oh, he's frozen again. Can you hear me, Benny?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, Estevan kids that are tearing it up. I was looking at that. What can you tell me about these two?
Ewan Rennie is a second-year player came over last year and had a great season offensively. And then Rylan Williams, Colton Getzlaff, they had a big blockbuster battle for an Estevan happened in the offseason where Rylan Williams, of course, he's from Kyle. His dad's kind of a wagon in senior hockey back in the day with the Kyle Elks. But nonetheless, Rylan and him have had a great year with Ewan Rennie, and they've been terrific alongside Cash Olsen, who's probably a favorite to win SJHL Rookie of the Year right now. So they've scored a lot of goals, Estevan. Sometimes they've had trouble keeping the puck out of their net, but they've definitely been a pleasant surprise. And those are two guys that maybe don't get talked about as much with the Jacob Stritzes and some other players across the league. But those guys have mentioned, I think Rylan Williams has won 3 SJHL Forwards of the Week or Saskatchewan-born Players of the Week. So I just want to give those guys their kudos. And if we'll see what happens here at the Viking Cup, if those guys want to play in that Viking Cup at the end of December, but they would be a big cogs for that Team Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League team.
Do you miss the mustache? How did that go down? How did it all go this year?
It was good, yeah. Raised a lot of money. It got a little bit thick, Lazeruk, and I got the ultimatum on Sunday that you better have it shaved off before Monday. So it actually feels pretty good. Like, it was nice to have, but I'm still have a relationship, which is good. So that's the biggest thing. But it was great to raise some money and raise awareness. And you can look across the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, did a great job of raising money. This is the most they've raised, over $20,000 plus they've raised in the SJHL November campaign. And it's not only just raising mustaches; it's raise awareness that, hey, sometimes you have to get yourself checked to make sure you take care of yourself. So just want to change the way of the men's health, and SJHL November Canada did a good job of that. So hats off to everybody across the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Absolutely, especially at my age. Once a year, you got to go. And I was going to say, Benny, you should have called her bluff. Should have tested it out. Let's see, are you really? You know how good you got it over here. Hey, my face is on doors at the Gallagher Center. Like, come on, you ain't leaving this operation. Games of the week. What are we looking at? You know what? It's pretty easy this week. Flin Flon's won 5 in a row. Nipawin's won 5 in a row. 2 of the top teams in the league, and they're playing a home-and-home this weekend. Friday in Nipawin, and then Saturday in Flin Flon. So it's weather's getting a little cooler up there in northeastern Saskatchewan. Northwestern Manitoba. So if you have a chance, head your way up north. I'm not sure if the fishing's open up ice fishing wise yet, maybe a little bit, but we'll see. But nonetheless, it should be a great showdown there. Nipawin they've took a lot of good steps here forward. They have one of the best goaltenders in the league, Gage Roberts, and we'll see what they're made of. And so I'm same with the Flin Flon Bombers. Like you said, they played a lot of home games. They're going to be playing on the road for the first time in quite a while here. So we'll see what both teams are made of. But that's going to be a heavyweight tilt there at the Cage and the Whitney Forum. Over under 100 requests that you've had for the SJHL Sportscage hat. Yeah, I've had a lot. I actually gave one to my dad, so he's been sporting it around, and he went to a Millionaire game the other day, and then he's like, "Where did you get that hat?" He's like, "Secret." He says, "You have to know people." He says, so yeah. I've had some great interactions, but yeah, I've worn it. Actually fits pretty good, so I definitely enjoy it. What's your dad's name? Glen, former Millionaire, played 4 years with the Money Men, so he's a proud SJHL alumni. Also played 1 year with the Saskatoon Olympics. I'm not sure if you heard of them, Barney, but they were back in the late 70s, the Saskatoon Olympics, coached by Daryl Lubanicki and Dave King. They're up there. Oh, there we go. Couple of legends. All right, we're going to give away one of those hats. Right. Actually, you know what? Text line right now, 936-6262. Here's the question. I'm going to ask people a question, though. And then whoever gets it right, Colson's going to spin. Name one of the Saskatoon Junior A franchises over the years. Yes. I know of 2, maybe 3. Right. So let's make people work for these lids, because we got like 20 left. That's it, Benny. I know. Right. There's one game, I won't say the name, but Saskatoon team played in Melville. I think it was 11-2, and I think Dave Shields, the former Mills alumni, had 6 or 7 goals that game. So they were absolutely terrible that year. I think they only had 3 or 4 victories in the late 90s. But yeah, we'll see if anybody has it. Yeah. All right, buddy. Thanks for doing this. We'll catch up again. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. There he is, Benny Walchuk, voice of the SJHL. Join us here. The SJHL Report's brought to you by Chatterreach, Senior Wealth Advisor, GP Financial Services of Visa Wealth. If you got a job change, a life change, something like that, they can work with you. They've been helping people for years. gpfinancial.ca. We're going to go to break here. Ooh, some text messages coming in wanting to win the hats. It's the Sports Cage on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM. 620 CKRM on location.
Let's go to Glen broadcasting from the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery. Just got an update here on the 50-50. Take home right now, $21,640. $21,640. That's going to continue to grow yet. Now, there are going to be 14 draws tomorrow night of $1,000, 10 draws of $500. That grand prize, $100,000 that maybe you want to put towards that dream sports trip. One of these days, I've been saying this now for a long time, one of these days, I'm going to get to Green Bay, and I'm going to watch the Green Bay Packers, but I haven't got there yet because, well, I got my ticket in this draw drum, so I'm hoping to win the $100,000 so I can get there and watch the Green Bay Packers. What about you? What's your dream sports trip? Is it to go to your favorite hockey team? Maybe you want to go watch the Toronto Blue Jays play somewhere. Maybe you want to go and see your favorite NFL team. Well, you could do that with your winnings. 1-866-783-4800 or online at yorktonexhibition.com.
It's time to unwrap great savings during the Access Communications Boxing Week sale. For a limited time, Access is offering all new and existing customers 1 month free with any new service of Access Internet, TV, phone, or security. Plus, choose your gift of either a $50 credit or free Fire TV stick. The Access Communications Boxing Week sale is on now. Visit myaccess.ca today.
Year-end clearance has arrived at Crestview Chrysler, and we're blowing out all new 2025 inventory. Ram, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, every badge, every body style. If it's a new 2025, it's marked down to move. Get up to $21,000 off select new 2025 Ram 1500s, and get up to $18,000 off select new 2025 Jeep Wranglers. Do not miss your chance to get massive savings. It's year-end clearance only at Crestview Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
The 620 CKRM Country Corner is brought to you by Glasses TV, your SJHL authorized dealer, and Foster's Audio Video in Carlisle. Get the newest cell phone today with an amazing SJHL rate plan.
The Carlisle Dickens Village Festival is this weekend, December 5th and 6th. See Ebenezer Scrooge, Father Christmas, and carolers. Take a horse-drawn carriage ride and stop for high tea, the English market, and more. Details at townofcarlisle.com. 620 CKRM is giving you the chance to win a night out with Johnny Reed and Pump Jacks Cathedral. Your shot at 2 tickets to Christmas with Johnny Reed at Connexus Arts Center on December 11th and a $100 gift card to Pump Jacks for a pre-show supper. Draw December 8th. Listen for your chance to qualify and get in the holiday spirit with Merry Christmas Baby, Rory Allen's tribute to Elvis. 3 nights, December 19th, 20th, and 21st at the Casino Regina Show Lounge. Grab your tickets at the box office or casinoregina.com.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com. It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport, Regina's locally owned one-stop hockey shop. Now with a price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street.
Trevor Harris is back with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. If you missed it, signed a 1-year deal. We have our Grey Cup MVP back. Jealousy all over the YouTube chat. I love it. Big game tonight. Week 14 of the NFL season kicks off. Dallas Cowboys. A lot of Dallas Cowboy fans out there. Again, at the Detroit Lions, 7:15. Sports Select has the Lions as the 3-point favorite. Lions win. 59% chance of making the playoffs according to NFL Next Gen stats. And if they lose, they fall to 22. The Cowboys, they win. They go to 31%. They lose, they drop to 6% to make the postseason. Prairie Junior Hockey League at the No Concession Doug Wickenheiser Arena. Regina Silver Foxes welcome Pilot Butte Storm, 7:45. AAA Midget Notre Dame Hounds at the Regina Pat Canadians at the Sixer, 7:45. National Hockey League, 10 games. The Canadian teams, Ottawa hosting the Rangers, Toronto's in Carolina. Flames welcome Minnesota, and Edmonton plays host to the Seattle Kraken. It is the Sportscage Sports Ticker for Extreme Hockey and Sport. They're local. They support local. Right now, Black Friday sales are still on. 30% off sticks. The Mystery Minis. You're looking for Christmas presents? The Mystery Minis are big. Also, gift certificates, and you can buy everything online now at Extreme Hockey and Sport. All right, Colson, I want to get into Sprinkle of the Day for Sports Select, sportselect.com. And yesterday, Sharky and I were both wrong with our hockey pick. He took the over. It was the under. I took a tie. I hit it. That game went to overtime. I would have hit it. If I would have went and played, would have been a little bit smarter. I would have hit it. But tonight we're going to that big NFL game. I had no idea it was this big of a game actually when I started the day. Dallas Cowboys are 3.5-point underdog. And when you go to Sports Select nowadays, if it says an S beside it, sportselect.com. You can do it on your phone. You can play that single game. So all you got to do, if you're on your phone, click what you want to play, or you could play it. If it's a 3-point game, take that tie at 340. That's juicy. You take that and you just put your wager in, and it says generate code. You generate that code. It comes up with a QR code. Keep it on your phone. Go to your local Lotto Spot retailer. They scan it, and you got your ticket right there. You got to pay, obviously, as well. Sports Select. I'm going to take the tie. I'm taking 3-point game, 340 odds, and I actually might play that on the way home. Got to be 18 plus to play. Play with the original cash in hand. Every bet is 100% legal. Sportselect.com, sponsor of the Sprinkle of the Day. Hour 3 coming up. Glen Suitor. You got questions for Glen? I'm going to ask him a bunch about Trevor Harris and the CFL. Trevor Harris and Glen Suitor talk coming up. It is a Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
This is 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Available everywhere in high-res audio with the CKRM app.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the sasktoday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news for Echo Sound and Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. The Regina Board of Police Commissioners has appointed Laura Lee Davies as the city's 16th police chief and the first woman to hold the job in Regina's history. Davies has nearly 30 years with the service. She's also managed major protests and emergency calls as a critical incident commander. Mayor Chad Baczynski says her promotion is well-deserved and that she knows the police service inside and out.
Throughout her career, Chief Davies has worked both in uniform and investigative positions and in plainclothes divisions. Davies has provided leadership in community-based and human resource sections of the police service and has been a member of both the public safety and crisis negotiation teams.
Davies has served as acting chief since Farouk Sheikh was removed in April. Trevor Harris will return under center for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 2026. The veteran quarterback signed a one-year deal after guiding the Riders to last season's Grey Cup title, the fifth in franchise history. Harris threw for 4,549 yards and 24 touchdowns in the regular season, leading the league in completion percentage. He also engineered a dramatic Western Final win over BC this year. The head of the Canadian Veterinary Medical Association is sounding the alarm over a lack of new vets entering the profession. Tracy Fisher recently spoke before the Commons Ag Committee and noted the number of graduates entering the workforce are barely enough to cover those who are leaving.
This is why we are calling on the federal government to support the creation of a national testing center for internationally educated veterinarians, allowing qualified professionals to enter the workforce more quickly and efficiently.
She says the veterinary community is expected to face a labor shortage until the year 2031. Legal name change applications in Saskatchewan will now require a certified criminal record check that includes fingerprinting. The new requirement is part of regulatory changes introduced today by the provincial government. Officials say the move supports commitments made in the throne speech earlier this fall and is intended to prevent individuals convicted of serious crimes from hiding behind a new identity. Several key federal cabinet ministers addressed the Assembly of First Nations gathering in Ottawa today. One of them was Finance Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne, who defended the most recent federal budget.
Voice that advocates for Indigenous people. You would have seen that in Budget 2025, we were explicit, not implicit, we were explicit in protecting the essential programs that my colleague in Indigenous Services Canada provides and the work of Crown Indigenous Relations.
National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Nepenak has criticized the budget for not including more infrastructure funding or educational resources for First Nations communities. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
620 CKRM on location.
Back here in Yorkton at the Gallagher Center here. Boy, it's really getting busy here. We got lots of people getting ready to do some curling. We've got folks swimming. We've got kids getting ready to play some soccer here today. Just something going on. And, of course, there's lots of people coming in to get their ticket for the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery, giving away $100,000 just in time for Christmas. The draws will be happening tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. That means the deadline is tomorrow to get your ticket. Don't wait any longer because we are creeping up on deadline day. They're $100 each, 3 for $250, and they make it so easy to to get your ticket. You can do it online, yorktonexhibition.com. You can do it in person here at the Gallagher Center in Yorkton, or you can call toll-free 1-866-783-4800. That's 1-866-783-4800.
This holiday season, in the red corner, weighing in at jolly and unstoppable, it's Santa Claus. Santa's laying the smackdown on slow internet and bad cell coverage. Because at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, the deals are off the ropes. Get the latest cell phone, SaskTel MaxStream, and lightning fast internet that'll make your holidays legendary. So tag in the pros at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
Brought to you by Line X Regina, Serious Protection Killer Lux, 1865 McCarra Street. Matt's Furniture. Visit mattsfurniture.ca.
Slow-moving frontal boundary continues to drift to our south tonight, and while some drier air will slowly fade in tomorrow, it looks like cloud will have the upper hand, and a cold air mass ensures temperatures remain below normal. Drier air will feed in on Saturday. Weak weather maker will bring thicker cloud and flurries Sunday, and it looks like a nice warm-up for the first of the week on Monday. Mainly cloudy tonight with a few light snow showers or flurries at the very least. We're down to minus 12. Chance of snow 50%. West to northwest winds at 15 to 25. Mostly cloudy on Friday. Temperatures fall to minus 15. Chance of snow 20%. Northwest winds at 20 to 40, diminished by late afternoon. Mostly cloudy Friday night, minus 21. Becoming partly sunny on Saturday with a high of minus 16. North and northeast winds at 10 to 20. Mainly cloudy with flurries on Sunday, minus 11. Warmer on Monday with partly sunny skies and a high temperature near minus 4. With your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, I'm meteorologist Russ Murley.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you money at Matt's Furniture. Now till December 10th, it's the Black Friday sale. Buy any 2 qualifying Whirlpool or Maytag kitchen appliances and save $150. Buy 3 or more qualifying Whirlpool or Maytag kitchen appliances and save $300. And buy any qualifying washer and dryer and save $150. See in store for details and list of qualifying models. The Black Friday sale is on now at Matt's Furniture in Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
For 40 years, the team from Line X Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Line X Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
All right, welcome back. What a show it's been. Colson's got things covered on the board. It's just Colson and I today. Tomorrow's show, Harry is my co-host. He's back. That's always fun. And then a new segment tomorrow. We're launching on the Sports Cage, the holiday Festivus season, with our friends from Last Mountain Distillery. Going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to tonight to sitting in a dark room and doing nothing but watching this Cowboys-Lions game. Not a big fan of either team, but it's a playoff implication game. Probably going to sprinkle, like I said. Take that tie on that Sports Select. Why wouldn't a guy? If you miss any of it, you can go back and listen to it in a podcast form, wherever you listen to podcasts. And, of course, you can go back and watch it on YouTube. Through YouTube and sportscage.com. Thursdays is for Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Trevor Harris re-signing with the Saskatchewan Roughriders for 1 year. Glen Suitor standing by. We're going to talk to suits and press coverage for Bronco Plumbing and Heating. But I wanted to mention this, and we had a couple of people that are big Led Zeppelin fans. It broke their heart. On this day back in 1980, Led Zeppelin announced their official breakup, several months after the death of drummer John Bonham. It's weird how he died. His death, the Elvis one, Whitney Houston's kind of weird. I'm in some crazy ways of musical artists to pass on. And then I said, man, I wasn't a Led Zeppelin fan. The Doors are probably the band that I cringe the most when I hear anything by the Doors. Sorry, Doors fans. But Zeppelin was like, and the Beatles is an acquired taste for me too, and I love them now. I heard the cover band Kashmir, and they played a bunch of the Zeppelin songs. The Immigrant song, so good. And then the song Kashmir was great. But 1980 was a sad day for a lot of Zeppelin fans. I wonder if Glen Suitor was a Zeppelin fan. He strikes me as a Zeppelin fan. Let's go ask him.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the Sportscage. Brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
I can see you. I was going to say, I can see you grabbing the jukebox back in the old Rider locker room and throwing on Kashmir at the top. Bobby Jurison walking around with his headband. I can see it.
Guarantee you Bobby loved Zeppelin. Guaranteed he was on the playlist for Bobby Jurison, no question. But Immigrant Song takes me back even further because that was one that I crank getting ready even for college football games, like just blowing it up as loud as you could play it, and it just felt like it was getting your adrenaline rushing for a pregame song in your headset as you're walking around the field or whatever. You're just ready to go and knock somebody down. So yeah, it was. I wouldn't consider myself, Barney, a huge Zeppelin fan. I was sort of, more into R&B and even a lot of the Michael Jackson before he got all weird. And then, it kind of transferred to the Eagles and that kind of deal, and then into country music big time in the 90s. So, but Zeppelin was in there for sure. And it always was kind of around sports for me for Zeppelin.
Yeah, we talk pop culture, we talk music on the show. That's why people are loving it, and especially with you here. And I know your son and the ties to Nashville and everything. But Zeppelin was always weird for me. Once I figured it out when I got older, and I was like, "Oh, it's John Bonham." Yeah, like he basically vomited in his sleep and passed away. They never got back together really for a tour. Like Queen, and then Adam Lambert singing Queen, and then. Although he didn't pass away, but Journey, and then they bring in the Filipino fellow, and he sings. And I was like, they were just true to it. They were like, no, we're done. Like, John's not here. We are done.
Admirable, but, it's something you admire about him, I'm sure, that, if it's not going to be the band that we put together, then let's not do it. And that I get, but, if they would have just found somebody that could, you can't, everybody is unique, but found someone that could play the songs and added that person to the band. The Eagles have done that with Vince Gill. Yeah. And, and his voice is, it sounds great. I mean, him singing Eagles songs sounds awesome. So, they would have been selling out concerts like late into their, come on. That like I said, you don't have to be a big fan of some of these iconic bands to know that even when they're in their 70s, if they came back to town, you got to see it. It's like a must-see thing if you can afford it and all that, but you got to see it.
Def Leppard, U2. I'm not a big U2 fan, but I'd like to see them. We're talking bands. We're talking bands that, continued together. What a segue into the Riders. Trevor Harris and his band. Is he going to have the band together? He signs a 1-year deal, Glenn. 100%. A lot of people. I said it was about 95% for me that he was going to come back. 1-year deal. Nothing about this surprises you?
No, nothing surprises me. And in fact, it is the first team decision by Trevor Harris for the 26th season. And he has put the entire franchise and his teammates ahead of himself in this decision to do it this early. I'm not surprised that he did it. I mean, I think we could all see the tea leaves were leaning that way, even when he was saying, I got to talk to my wife, my family, and see what we want to do. But you could tell that he wanted to play again. And, the question of if they won and if they lost, would that make a difference in what his decision was? If they lost, he'd for sure come back to try and get it done. If they won, would he walk away with a Grey Cup ring and being a champion, and that was his last game in pro football? It's kind of a romantic way, I guess, to walk away from the game, but don't do it if you're playing great. I mean, if you're playing at a high level, you're playing great, you've got your teammates and the coaching staff's trust, then continue with it. And that's why I think we were all kind of, I wouldn't say like not surprised at all that he signed, but the fact that he signed this quickly is a massive team decision. And I heard one of the callers or one of the people that text in say, it'd be interesting to see if he took a bit of a haircut so that he could bring in some of his teammates and maybe make the budget work in a better way for Jeremy O'Day. And I don't know the answer to that, but I will tell you that I bet he did. I bet he did by, just knowing Trevor Harris, first of all. Second of all, that he did it this quickly, because as soon as he is signed for another year, AJ Ouellette is automatic. That's an automatic now. He's got the same coaching staff, the same offensive coordinator, even though people have been knocking on the door for Mark Mueller. The discussion of Corey Mace even, no, all staying. You're going to see the same thing. You're going to see the same kind of standards. Everything that you completely understand and has made you a champion last year, you're coming back to. So now AJ Ouellette, Sam Emilus, I think maybe one of those Canadian receivers, you got a Joe there, you got Tommy Neal, you got Schaefer Baker, Sam Emilus, Picton. There may be, and I know Picton has said he's not going anywhere, but I guess I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys ended up somewhere else.
I think that's fair. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think AJ Ouellette's the next domino that they might do this strategically too? On releasing what? Because we had a lot of people, and I would say it was a toss-up between A.J. Ouellette and Jamarcus Hardrick would be the next domino, is what we're calling it, to fall here. Some are saying it's Emilus. If they were going to announce the next one, or who's the next one to announce, who would you think, Glenn? Is it A.J.?
I would think it's AJ. They lived together through the season. They're best friends. They goofed around after every win. They hang out together on the road, I'm sure. So you're talking about a guy who, and this was in an interview late in the year, Barney, with AJ. We didn't ask him this question specifically, but because it was before the West Final, and we didn't want to talk about retirement, things like that. So we didn't ask him the question, but he said, without being prompted, that he and Trevor had talked about getting it done now because who knows what happens in the future. Now, maybe that was just sort of brushstrokes of, we want to take care of business. Or maybe it was that they have discussed at length that, hey, if you come back, I'll come back. If you don't, then maybe we move on. So I think because of those kind of things, AJ Ouellette to me would be number one, and receivers number two.
And I think it was Paul on our text line too, got me thinking, thought about this when they announced that Regina is getting the Grey Cup in 2027. I was like, would there maybe be some 2-year deals out of this? Because the last thing we want is to have an inexperienced or a rookie, like looking ahead. We don't look ahead to next year, but I am looking ahead.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's real interesting. Maybe there was an option for some 2-year deals here. I guess at his age, you never want to, one by one, it makes a little bit more sense. But 2027 is a big year in Regina too.
Yeah, it is. I think in this world that we live in 1-year deals, for sure Trevor would be going year to year. I bet you they didn't even talk about an extended deal because of his age. But even if you're a young player, relatively young, say in year 4 or 5, I these 1-year contracts, which I hate, and I don't think they benefit the players like they think they do. The players think that this benefits them because they can have a big year and, bump up their pay. And that sounds great in principle, but when you have 200 free agents and 25 receivers, 10 of them are great starters, then how much more money are you going to make? Because how much bargaining power do you really have? So, I think that's where we are now with these 1-year deals, and I don't think it benefits anybody, to be honest. That's a discussion for another day. But when you're talking about who does Trevor Harris influence more, his offensive line, which I know love him and respect him, and when you get a quarterback with the quickness in recognition and delivery that Trevor has, and your stat totals are down, that means you get, as an offensive lineman, more bonus money. If you have put in your contract that your quarterback is upright or whatever it is, and you have special deals in your contract, maybe there's more money for you up front. But for receivers, it's my best example here is Kenny Lawler. Kenny Lawler has the monster season in Winnipeg, he goes and then he goes back because he thought the grass was greener, the extra money looked good, had the big season. He signs on another team. He comes back the very next year because he goes, this is crazy. What I need is a top-tier quarterback, and then the rest will happen for the rest of me and my teammates. And that's what Sam Emlis is looking at now. And he's doing it well before free agency. Can you imagine if this went to end of January? And that's when, and we all would have said fine for Trevor to take that long. I mean, take as long as you need. But if he would have waited till end of January and then we're starting free agency, I mean, how many contracts, how many players would have said, well, you know what, I'm going to wait and see because I have a chance to possibly play with Bo Levi Mitchell if Trevor retires, or with Nathan Rourke if Trevor retires. And for a receiver, it's massive. One of the best, if not the best receiver, arguably one of the best in the league, is Kenny Lawler. And Kenny Lawler learned the lesson. The grass isn't always greener. And he had 2 good quarterbacks in the teams that he's played on.
What do you think the discussions are as far as a number 2? Was Jake Mayer waiting for something to happen? Are the Riders, maybe looking at something else? Is it Jack Cohn's time?
Yeah, that's a good question because, first of all, if Jake, Jake would, first of all, I think we've had him on the show, and he loves Saskatchewan. He loves playing there. And he loves, the locker room and the coaching staff. So that if you're looking at bringing him back and they bring back Jake, it's a great insurance policy because you know what he's capable of. He has enough on his resume that you can win games with him, and they did this year. They kept that winning way going when he played a couple of games. So I know they weren't off the chart numbers that he put up, but he managed the ball well, he managed the team well, and got the wins. And so that you don't want to be too flippant about, well, we can do better than that. You've got an experienced backup quarterback in Jake Mayer right now. If you can get him back at the right number, that is a great insurance policy. Your third guy has got to be when Trevor Harris truly retires, that young guy's got to be ready to push Jake to a point of saying, you better be outstanding to win the starting job if Trevor leaves. And we might be talking about the Grey Cup year at that point. I'm not retiring Trevor after 26, but you may be because of his age.
Curtis Rourke.
Yeah.
2027. Let's start the rumor now.
Well, what's his name?
Elgersma.
Elgersma. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Why do I always forget his name? It's probably that anyway. Elgersma. I mean, I know that there's still interest down there, but who knows? I mean, and who knows if he's going to be able to make the transition and play at the pro level in Canada. He's got to prove that too. Just because he's down there right now doesn't mean he knows it and can play at a high level, elite level in the Canadian Football League. It does not translate sometimes. We've seen many great players. Remember Vince Ferragamo?
Yeah.
Remember Vince? Coming off an MVP year in the NFL and went up to Montreal and just couldn't figure out the extra DB and kept throwing it to the wrong team.
We got a problem. Our guy can't figure out the extra player on the field. We got a major problem here. What is this? What do you think this means? And I was talking to Farhan earlier. We're going to replay that interview because it's great in hour one. We're going to have that here in the back half of this hour. But he says now he's kind of curious on Fajardo in Edmonton with this.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because if I just don't think that Trey Ford is going to be in their plan. I mean, Killam has made his declaration at quarterback between those two, and Fajardo's his guy. So, can he be back there? I think he can. I think he wants to continue to play for sure. Starting from week one, what does that mean for Trey Ford? And is there a place where someone may give him? I don't think it'll be a starting opportunity, but is there a team that would say, come with us, keep learning for another year or two, and then we're going to give you an opportunity? And I still think physically he is a unicorn in a way that I've not seen in the game, either as a player or as a broadcaster. And if you could somehow harness that and then create this pro leader, not to say I'm not disparaging Trey, but all of the other aspects of being the guy that from accounts from other coaches and things that Trey is still learning. If he can get there, then athletically, I mean, I had a long conversation, Barney, about Trey Ford with Paul LaPolice in Winnipeg with his touch football team, the Olympic team. Nathan Rourke, Curtis Rourke are both guys that are names that he is interested in seeing if they're interested in playing. But Trey Ford is a flag football nightmare for defenses. Like, could you imagine him as the wing quarterback? You put him out, behind the starting quarterback.
Option.
But he's on. And he's your second option. If the rush comes, you throw it out to him. He can still throw or run. I mean, he would be a flag football phenom. So
you want to know how much of a flag football nerd I am? It's December, and I've already started drawing up plays because I got 3 quarterbacks, 3 option guys.
So do you have the running type like the Trey Ford types, or do you have the Nathan Rourke types?
One can get on his REO Speedwagon and go. The other two are kind of more. They can run. You got to be athletic to play the game. Like flag football, you have to be somewhat athletic. But they're the shifty Trey Ford-ish. Like Lamar Jackson and that makes things that makes things really difficult. And then you put so much. There's so much. I think the second most important person on a flag football field, a lot of times, people would disagree with me, is the rusher. Because if you do have a shifty quarterback, then you take him out of the game with a rusher that's very agile and can keep him in contain or pull flags. So it's the Italians that, I think a couple of years ago when Mason Nias and his team, they were playing, the Italian quarterback was 6'7", and he took about 2 extra yards deep. So the rusher's got to run 2 extra yards, and this guy could throw it a mile. He wasn't running anywhere, but he was just so deadly accurate, right? So it's different. And then they say the Japanese run like a 3-quarterback system. So well, you could, me, I could talk about this till 11 o'clock tonight.
Well, for me with flag or touch football, which was the same, and I played in the off season of my time in Saskatchewan every year, and that once you beat, if a quarterback is like a Trey Ford type, or even a Nathan can run too. I mean, he's not a strictly pocket passer, but if that quarterback beats the rusher comes at however many 5, 7, 9 yards sometimes to get to the quarterback initially, and then the quarterback beats him and now is wide open, you can't defend it.
No,
you just can't cover everybody for that long and have a quarterback, and then he can run for 30 yards because everyone's down the field.
In flag, you have to. So your quarterback, let's say it's Trey Ford standing back there at 7 yards. So 7-yard rusher bag, and then however yard you want to go back 7, so that's 14, right? He can't juke the rusher and then take off. There has to be an option play for him to be able to run. So that's where you see a guy come behind center quick and just pitch it back to the quarterback, because now that quarterback's live to run. And then it just opens up the whole can of worms. And
Exactly. So there's lots of options there. And even if he's not running, if he's buying time and just, running around and finding time to throw, that can take all day. And there's no way you can cover guys. There's going to be open receivers everywhere. So, I mean, it's interesting because, we'll look at how many quarterbacks kind of shuffle around in Canadian football. But, the first thing I thought of, Barney, when I saw the news that Trevor had signed was this is the ultimate teammate. It really is.
I think to your point, sorry to interrupt, but to your point there, I think it will come out. I will be shocked if he isn't taking a bit of a, so-called hometown discount to make it work for the rest of the guys, a la Tom Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm almost certain, and I don't know this, I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm almost certain he would. He would make sure when Jeremy said, can we make this number work at X?
Yeah.
And he goes, you know what? Yes. And Jeremy would have been, I'm sure, open with him and saying stuff like, if we can get to this number, then Sam Emlis becomes a lot easier.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is what I mean about the timing for Trevor, and just this early for him is just, it's money for Jeremy O'Day. It's just like, he can make all those phone calls now. Hey, our guy's back. That's how he calls every free agent he has now. Hey, guess what? Our guy's back. If you haven't noticed, because you're down in Ohio or wherever you are, our guy's back. So we're going to take another run at this. What do you think?
T-Mobile is back. All right, buddy. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. We'll see what happens. Maybe another domino falls tomorrow. We get to talk about it next week. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Yeah, and anytime we want to talk X's and O's and flag, I'm in, man. I'm in. Let's do it.
How about I fly to Vancouver and we do that so I can golf? Let's plan something like that.
We'll go up Whistler. Play a little golf up Whistler.
Right on. Okay, next week, Glenn. Thanks so much.
Okay, Mike.
There's press coverage with Glen Suitor, always brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. Your furnace may be on the fritz. Get them to come look at it. They'll treat you right. 781-2090 to reach Bronco Plumbing and Heating. Break time here on the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. One full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM. 620 CKRM on location.
It's Cody Glyden broadcasting from the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery. I know almost everybody in that Simpson Holdfast area listens to 620 CKRM. One of those native sons there, Craig Steen of Simpson, has just rolled in to the Gallagher Center here. Is he going to buy a ticket, a 3-pack? TBD. But you know what? You don't want to wait much longer. If you are listening in last couple of days, well, you know what? The deadline is fast approaching. We're now down to hours left to get your ticket here for the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery. Comes to an end tomorrow night. The draws will be happening at 9 o'clock. 14 draws of $1,000, 10 prizes of $500. If you win any of those, you get that cash prize, plus your name goes back into the draw for the grand prize of $100,000. And there's a 50-50 on top of that. Can you believe it? 1-866-783-4800. That's 1-866-783-4800.
Back to our regular spot, Pump Jacks Cathedral.
You know, I thought Pump Jacks was a kind of boot polish till last month.
What are you getting?
Kerwin's crispy ribs and a cold pint of local craft. Crispy, meaty, beautiful.
You had me at meaty.
Plus, we got live music on the weekends, big screens. This place is basically my second marriage.
And way cheaper than the first.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jacks Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Our QB1 is back. Trevor Harris signing a one-year deal with the Saskatchewan Roughriders today. Football, week 14 of the NFL starts tonight. Big one, Dallas, Detroit, 7:15. Lions, 3-point favorite on Sports Select. The over-under in the game at Sports Select sitting at 55.5. If you want to sprinkle, big game playoff implication-wise there. Prairie Junior Hockey League tonight. Regina Silver Foxes, 7:45, hosting the Pilot Butte Storm. Saskatchewan Male, U18 AAA. Regina Pat Canadians welcome the Notre Dame Hounds. National Hockey League, 10 games, and Canadian teams that are skating. Ottawa playing host to the Rangers. Toronto's in Carolina. Calgary welcomes Minnesota, and the Edmonton Oilers take on the Seattle Kraken. Berkeley Cat. Now got rough on the weekend. 4-0 win for the Oilers there. Canadian Senior Curling Championships. Amber Holland 6-1. She's 6-1 with an 8-6 win over New Brunswick earlier today. Bruce Cordy is a 9-1 win over Northern Ontario. Cordy moves to 7-0. Holland's back on the ice right now. Cordy later tonight. It is for Steelcraft Doors in Regina. Made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Regina Steelcraft Doors. If you need a garage door, they have you hooked up. All right, we're still giving away the Sportscage SJHL hat. If you're not watching the stream, you don't know what we're talking about. Look at that Sportscage on the side there. Nice hat, the young country singer hat. These are hot. There's only 30 of them left. We were asking people on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, give us a name of one of the Saskatoon Junior A teams. They don't have a Junior A team anymore. They did for a few years. One of them. We have a couple of people only that got it right. A lot of people are thinking Junior B. We're talking Junior A here. We gave away Pats tickets today. Pats taking on the Brandon Wheat Kings tomorrow. Should be interesting. They're back from their long road trip where they went winless. And the Brandon Wheat Kings, as we talked to Les Lazeruk earlier in the show, are kind of hitting their stride. They're finding things right now. Tomorrow's show, Chris Harris is going to be with me. Like I said, new segment with our friends from Last Mountain Distillery. Arash Madani was traveling today, so he is in tomorrow. Also, Eric Francis is in with us tomorrow, and we're going to look at Sask hockey as they get set for their Sask First Camp. U15 kids. They're in Aberdeen up north and Lumsden this weekend. So if you missed it in hour one, Farhan Lalji joining us from Miami. on the heels of the news of Trevor Harris. We're going to rerun that again after the break. Sportscage on Thursdays for Access Communications. Trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. We go to break. We come back. You hear the interview with Farhan Lalji here on the Sportscage.
It's time to unwrap great savings during the Access Communications Boxing Week sale. For a limited time, Access is offering all new and existing customers 1 month free with any new service of Access Internet, TV, phone, or security. Plus, choose your gift of either a $50 credit or free Fire TV stick. The Access Communications Boxing Week sale is on now. Visit myaccess.ca today.
620 CKRM on location.
It's Cody Glyton back here in Yorkton at the Gallagher Center for the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lottery. $100,000 is going to be given away. Just a little while ago, I gave a shout out to Craig Steen of Simpson, and boom, he got a text saying, hey, you should buy a ticket, you cheapskate. So there we go. So whoever it was, the text